It's been a fantastic weekend here in Uptown Charlotte already with the 7:04 outdoor face-off here at Truist Field. Chris Lehman alongside Nick Perazzi. We've already seen the Auburn Tigers take down the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers 9-4. We had an overtime thriller last night as the South Carolina Gamecocks beat the North Carolina Tar Heels 4-3 in overtime. Tar Heels came back 3 separate times in order to force overtime, and of course they were unable to come up on the winning side, but a couple of great games already, and now we've got Alabama and NC State. And Nick, this is the 4th consecutive meeting for these two teams. NC State won 3-2 in Alabama and then 7-4 down south, and then last night an overtime thriller of their own 4-3 as well. Nick Labrizzi, the overtime hero, but it's been a really tight series even though NC State has won all 3.
Yeah, it has. And first off, Chris, just got to mention it. I stole your little thunder last night. Being play-by-play for the Ice Pack there up in Raleigh.
Did a fantastic job.
Thank you. I learned from the best, But it was a fantastic game up there. Very reminiscent of the game that was played just behind us last night. NC State opened the scoring, went up 1-0. Bama tied it 1-1. Shorthanded goal, 2-1. Same power play. State ties it 2-2. 3-2 lead going into that third period before Alabama tied it at 3, but just 59 seconds into the overtime period. Nick Labrizzi off a gutsy face-off from Zach Herman nets it home. Ice Pack win 4-3. But all 3 of these games that they played so far have been very close.
Absolutely. Of course, 2 one-goal games, the overtime game last night. Even the game NC State ends up winning 7-4, Alabama had a 4-3 lead in that game.
Yeah, they did. And I was talking to head coach Fairbanks of the Alabama Frozen Tide. He's talking to us about how, they've got 15 freshmen on this roster. This is really his first full season as head coach. And they're in all these games. We're going to get a couple of stats and just on the other side of this break, but they've been in every game they've played. It just comes down to the final stretch. They've had a lot of heartbreakers. They're looking to, no pun intended, flip the tie tonight.
Yeah, and one thing to keep an eye on, we've talked about it throughout this weekend down here in Charlotte, is ice conditions behind us. This is surprisingly, we look at how the weather has warmed up over the weekend, surprisingly, this is the best the ice has looked. Huge credit to the ice crew here at Truist Field, the way that they have been able to get things together. What they've done really well, I feel like, is adapt, figuring out what worked the best, and then going with it. And for the first time, I think we're going to have an on-time 7:30 start, and it should be a good one. As you mentioned, we're going to focus on the Tide. When we come back, it'll be time to look at Alabama. The lights are out here at Truist Field as the two teams get set to take the ice. Alabama and NC State coming up here in just over 10 minutes. Chris Lehman, Nick Perazzi here with you. And Nick, we're going to turn to the Frozen Tide now. Alabama, as we've talked about, 0-3 against NC State so far, and they've had some struggles here in this series as well.
Yeah, they have, and in fact, Alabama, can the Tide roll? It's going to be the question tonight. They have lost 7 straight games going back to the past couple of weeks, trying to avoid 4 straight losses now to the NC State Ice Pack, 2 last weekend down in Birmingham, and then 2 this weekend here in North Carolina. But the big factor for them, I think, is getting some goal scoring. They're averaging just over 2 goals per game now. They were under that last night. 3 more that they got last night in terms of the goal production category. The question, though, is can they keep finding success? Yep. NC State will have Peter Bartels in net. The other big question for them, they've had a lot of several heartbreaking games. Going up against an NC State team that's won a lot of close ones. It'll be interesting to see if Alabama, again, no pun intended, can flip the tide and try to find some success in these late and close games, because it's hard to beat a team 4 times in a row.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going to go with the kind of sports cliche is it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a row. State's done that now, but by a narrow margin last night. How does Alabama get the win here on this special night?
Well, they played a fantastic game last night. Both of these teams were evenly matched. Yes. It genuinely felt like Alabama and NC State were the 2 powerhouses of the ACHA. Yeah. Alabama outshot NC State in the first period. NC State outshot Alabama. And then we only had 5 shots on goal in that third period. But Alabama never gave up. They were down that entire third period, did a fantastic job coming back. And I think, Chris, tonight, Alabama's going to punch NC State in the mouth.
Well, the Frozen Tide making their way out to the ice right now. We're going to step aside and come back to talk about the ice pack as we get ready for the third matchup here at the 704 Outdoor Faceoff.
There are no shortcuts on the road to success. It's forged by confidence, purpose, and determination. Everyone has potential. Few have the power to unlock it. The University of Alabama, where legends are made.
I would never show my teeth. Never. Would never smile. And it forces you into this submission of silence because you don't think that anybody's going to take what you have to say seriously. Invisalign has changed my life forever.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, ice pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all ice pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
The love of hockey starts early. It builds more than skills, it builds spirit. Every drill creates a winner within. Grit and determination earn scholarships. Each stride builds a dream. The Wake Competition Center, the official practice facility of the Carolina Hurricanes.
I would never forget the picture that I have. I'm the only one that's not smiling. Even though I'm with my close friends, I felt alone. I didn't feel pretty, I didn't feel confident. When I got Invisalign, I built my confidence. It was the best investment that I could do.
When you look at me, you might see
a person with Parkinson's disease.
But if you look closer,
you'll see
a warrior mom,
an endurance athlete,
someone with a lot of fight.
Every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association.
Look closer.
My spirit
is unshakable.
Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
We talk forever about the future, worry about it, or wish it closer. We try to glimpse the places we'll go, from ocean depths to the far side of the moon. At NC State University, the future is a thing you make, with bright ideas, new tools, and a wolf pack behind you. Tell us where you're headed. We'll help you get there. NC State. Think and do.
The Tide are on the ice. The Ice Pack are just about there. Chris Lehman, Nick Perazzi with you as we get set for the 7:04 outdoor face-off here at Truist Field. And now it's time, Nick, to turn our attention to the Ice Pack. Of course, we talked about them a little bit in and of the fact that they played 3 consecutive games against this Frozen Tide team. Of course, they've won all 3 of them, but it has been a really strong start to their first season at ACHA Division I.
Yeah, right now, second in the division, or second in the standings, I should say, right now, NC State. And, it's a transition year for the Ice Pack. You expect them to have some growing pains, and they certainly have. But those growing pains haven't reflected that win-loss record. So for the Ice Pack, they're a pack on the prowl right now, if you will.
Yeah, and when you look at the step up and the difference between this year and last year, one thing that head coach Tim Healy talked about with us as we were down there before the game was one of the messages is we have to be different than last year. It was a disappointment for the fans who made the trip down to Charlotte for a special game like this, and they owe it to their fans to bring home a win and put up a good effort against Alabama tonight.
Yeah, and in my post-game interview with him last night, he said, we've got to avenge that loss. Yeah. We have to make the fans, come back here to Uptown Charlotte and get that, experience back in. But like I said, pack on the prowl, I should say. They've won 13 of their last 15 games to start the year. Again, they're just a couple losses to Liberty, who, are nationally ranked. The power play has been lethal. They struck again last night, 33% on the power play. And how about the cardiac pack, Chris? Several overtime wins, a great overtime game last night. They can get it done in those clutch moments, while Alabama has been struggling. But again, who knows what might happen tonight? Maybe a role reversal.
Well, we're going to find out here very soon. Up next, the Perazzi points and puck drop between Alabama and NC State.
Well, there's the
ceremonial pup for tonight. Champ the Retriever for the ceremonial puck drop here at the 7:04 outdoor face-off. NC State and Alabama just minutes away from getting things started. Chris Lehman, Nick Perazzi here with you. And Nick, as they get the ceremonial pup drop, will go to you for our Perazzi points tonight.
Yeah, Chris, well, after 20 years of living in the Charlotte area, unfortunately,
what's our theme?
This January I'm moving, so I've got to go with a Charlotte theme. First off, I'm one of them. 90% of the neighborhood I grew up in is one of them. Everyone's one of them here, transplants. And this is all about just moving the puck. Last night we saw a lot of Ice Pack players take open space that Alabama was giving them, but we saw NC State really struggle to get out of their own D zone. We saw Alabama have a couple of hard times in the O zone in terms of spacing. Transplant, move that puck around just like how us Northerners move down here. Second, Fury 325, one of the best roller coasters in the world. A Hornets nest. The Hornets are playing just a couple of blocks down the road against the Thunder. Charlotte was known as a Hornets nest in the Revolutionary War, and that's what you got to do tonight. You've got to be a Hornets nest, create a fury in front of the net. Alabama did a great job last night with their deflections in front of the net, creating traffic. Saw a couple of testy moments in that crease, but tonight I think NC State needs to work on that fury or that chaos, if you will. And finally, cha-ching, cha-ching, money, money, money. More money moves through this city than any other city in America. It's the bank city, the finance city, whatever you want to call it. Every building here is for a bank. The headquarters are everywhere. Make some money moments. This is your moment to be that man and make a money move.
Well, we're just about set for puck drop here at Truist Field. NC State wearing those uniforms they debuted at Carter Finley Stadium a few years ago. In black, they will move right to left across your screen. In those crimson uniforms, the Frozen Tide will move left to right. Connor, Zent, and Shuley, the starting three up front for the Tide. Fink and Wallace back behind with Perry Jacobs in net. Holden Kaufman centering Zach Herman and Reese Johnson, with Thronson and Labrizzi on the backside, and Isaac Toyer anchoring things in net. Underway here between NC State and Alabama. As we mentioned, this is the fourth meeting in the last couple of weekends for these two teams. NC State has won all three, escaped in overtime last night. Labrizzi's shot blocked at the blue line. It'll be chipped out, an odd man rush for Alabama if they can get to it. But it's Reese Johnson, or rather Thronson, disrupting that play. Loose puck picked up by Kaufman. He'll head man for Herman. Now Johnson with speed, going to the net, wraps in front, stuff chance. Jacobs stops two, and it ends up in the far corner. Back to the blue line. Played back down low by Mason Payne. And Alabama gets a chance to clear and change.
First test for Perry Jacobs tonight, and you got to give him a lot of credit. Had an injury on one of the goals he let up last night on an NC State power play. Stayed in the game, played phenomenal last night. Two quick, testy saves to start this one.
Well, NC State has Alabama back on their heels a bit to start. Here's Daniel Prasma, spins it out in front, nobody in a black jersey, and the Frozen Tide move out. Toe pick, though, for Maniscalco out of the zone, and NC State can shoot it right back around. Jacobs leaves it there behind, and a big hit on Matusik by Prasma. NC State unable to regain control, though. Mason Payne now at the blue line. Takes a slapper, gloved by Jacobs, and he'll hold on. A minute and a half in. NC State already leading in the shot category 4-0.
Yeah, and that's something they struggled with at the beginning of last night's game, actually losing the shot category. Take a look at this big crunching hit that Daniel Prasma delivers. He's been throwing the body around. Me and Grace had a good point about him last night, how his maturity has really grown this season, not taking as many penalties as he did last year, keeping his composure, and being the best player for the Ice Pack when he's on the ice.
Back to the blue line. Lapani's shot ends up out of play, and we'll get another face-off here in the Alabama end. 18:26 left here in period number one, but it has been a fantastic first weekend so far. A few little bumps to get through on day one, but since Thursday night, we have been pretty much smooth sailing here at Truist Field. One-timer off the draw. Lapani rips one wide. It'll be held in over on the near side, though, by Tate Sodden, and another save and another face-off in the Alabama end. The Tide have not been able to get any kind of traction so far.
No, and NC State has been the ones that have punched Alabama in the mouth. I said I expected Alabama to after last night's performance, but now I feel like Tim Healy, head coach of the Ice Pack, had some words to say pregame about how this team performed last year against the Gamecocks and how we cannot let that happen again this year.
They're off to a good start. Sodden off the face-off win for NC State. Pack have been dominating the face-off circle early as well. Scrum along that far wall. There with it, Brandon Raleigh. He'll force it down low. Has some help coming in. Raleigh unable to do much with it, though. Alabama sends it the length of the ice and just missed Sawyer, pardon me. So Toyer. And so it is icing. That's the main point there.
Getting a little tired of these games, Chris. 3 in a row.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't seen Toyer that much this season, though, so I'll give you the benefit of the doubt there. But no, Toyer's been a rock for NC State when they need to lean on him. He was a great presence last year. Had a couple of big games and big wins for the Icepack when they needed him most. They turned to him here for another outdoor game.
Another face-off win for NC State. Lapani will chip it down low. Back behind the net, it's steered along by Fink and up the wall. Lapani trying to pinch, can't hold the zone. Finch there to help out. He'll play it cross ice. One-touch pass from Aiden Rady trying to connect with Giancani and can't. Tide can reset behind their own net. It's Fink again. Right up the wall, Kavanaugh, and it'll get caught up. Looks like the face-off going to be moved down into the NC State zone here. It's really the first time that Alabama's been able to get in with an opportunity to possess.
They had that odd man rush at the very beginning of the game, but they just couldn't get a pass off early on. I think both of these teams, you've seen a couple of guys blow tires. You mentioned a toe pick earlier. Getting accustomed to this ice at game speed.
Off the draw. NC State going to be able to break it out. Tied up was Connie in the neutral zone. Now Petrich moving in for the Tide. He's just going to play it back up the wall. Shot coming. That gets blocked off the stick of Owens. NC State moves it out again. Finch steers his way around a diving Tide player and gets it deep. Chased down by Owens for Alabama. He'll protect. NC State needs a change, so Bama can set up a breakout. Up that far side. Chipped in by Petrich. Tide on the forecheck. A little awkward carom out in front, and they score. Well, that's been a little bit of a tricky area of the ice all weekend. It took an awkward bounce off the wall, and sometimes the best thing to do is throw it at the net, and Petrich has given the Tide the lead.
Definitely going to need to see another look at it, but you're right, Chris. Good things happen when you just throw the puck on net. This will be our best angle that we got to look at it. He might have just thrown it off of Isaac Toyer, actually. Coming at the right line. Here we go. This is a great look. And I don't know if that went off of Thronson or not, maybe. It's a little bit hard to tell.
This angle from behind will be a good look. Oh, Toyer got bumped by an Alabama player, and it knocked him off the post. It's unfortunate for NC State, but Bama on their first shot of the game have taken a 1-0 lead, and looks like there's a little extra jump, but here go the Ice Pack. Johnson and Herman on a 2-on-1. The captain to the middle, one-touch shot, and it's stopped by Perry Jacobs. NC State still with pressure down low. It squirts loose. Darlene with the one-timer that doesn't get through. It ricochets back out again. Another shot, kicked away. Rebound try and another save made by Jacobs. He'll hold on and a little bit extra after the whistle.
Well, this is what happened last night, Chris. Anytime a team got a goal, the other team immediately responded with high-quality chances. Now it's NC State's turn to do it, down for the second time of this little weekend or double weekend series, if you will, and a couple of haymaking saves made by Perry Jacobs, able to slide around as well. Again, he got a little bit banged up last night on one of the goals NC State had, but right now it seems like that injury is no longer bothering him, which is great to see if you're a Tide fan.
NC State controls another job. Off the face-off, Johnson with a quick shot, stopped by Jacobs. And we'll have another face-off to his glove side. 16-10 left in the first period. Alabama, despite being outplayed pretty heavily early, have the lead. Herman, quick shot. That one ricochets wide. Stepping in, Darlene holds the zone. Down low, he's got Johnson. Back into the corner. Darlene after it. Again, Johnson behind the goal. Trying to sweep it up top. That pass is intercepted by Carson Kamen, and he'll clear it down the ice. NC State regroups at their own blue line. Rink-wide pass off the mark. It'll be chipped back in by Parks Wallace. Still not really any sustained zone time for Alabama. They haven't been able to possess the puck. Just taking advantage of a favorable bounce. Here comes Holden Kaufman now for NC State down the right wing. Stops and hands it off for Herman. He'll lurk behind the goal. Backhand pass out in front, doesn't end up there. Stuff try around the far side, and Kaufman is jammed up. Now Lapani at the blue line. His shot deflected wide as Jacobs might have gotten a stick to it. Now Herman trying to force it deep. Closed off by Fink. Herman finds a way through anyhow. Looking to the middle, it's off at Bama's stick and into the corner. Down low, Lapani. Gets past Herman. Kaufman in a battle. He'll fork it along for Herman. Back to Holden Kaufman. Has his stick tied up. Alabama able to get it out into neutral ice. NC State's Cam Smith, though, turns it right back. This has been great from NC State. The only thing they haven't done so far is score. Turned over in center ice. NC State moving back the other way. Jake Gifford down the right wing. Trying to sweep it out in front, and that is intercepted. Nice pressure from behind by Ben Patterson to jar it loose. NC State's Prasma to the net. Can't put it home. But the Pack have not allowed Alabama out of their own end very long.
Despite the lead, this is not sustainable for Alabama. NC State's on pace right now to have nearly 40 shots on goal this period.
And every line is pressing. They're doing a great job of getting off the ice, making changes at the right time, and making it happen. Loose in front, and it's chipped just wide by Patterson. Great chance again for the Pack. They've had 3 or 4 high-danger chances. Lapani throws it in front. It deflects over to the near side. The second try doesn't go either. Now Prasma collects behind the goal. He'll hand it off for Gifford now. Backhanded down low again for Prasma. Out in front. One-timer glove save. Perry Jacobs on Patterson. 10 shots to 1 in favor of NC State, but it's 1-0 Bama.
Well, when I talked to head coach of the Ice Pack, Tim Hilly, after the game, he said Perry Jacobs should try out for the Alabama baseball team. The way he flashes the leather, and he's flashing it again early on, just making big save after big save. They show it on the Jumbotron here at Truist Field. And I mean, he is just so good with that left glove, Chris. He had a big couple of haymaking saves last night, just flashing it, you know, getting excited after he made a couple of those big saves. And so far, he is dialed and locked in.
NC State able to get control after the draw. Wrist shot for Michael Rinaldi deflects out of play. But I think if you're head coach Tim Healy, you don't feel too bad about where you are right now just because your team is playing, to me, what has been the best. It's been the best start of the season that we've seen.
It is, but you're down on the scoreboard, though. That's what matters. So
Govea unable to win the draw for the Pack. It'll be shoveled around the wall by Max Owens. NC State gets to it and controls. Labrizzi trying to play it off of Jacobs and in, but can't. And the Frozen Tide take over. They've got space to skate it out now. Floated in on Toyer. He'll direct it into that far corner. Bama first there. Heavy hit from Govea. Knocks the puck loose, and the Ice Pack have it. Rinaldi's pass deflects off a Bama player and out of play. It was Rocco McCullen who got in the way. And face-off, I believe here, will be in neutral ice.
How about those Letterman jackets Frozen Tide coaches are wearing here? We saw last year NC State and South Carolina went with the baseball theme, couple of baseball-type jackets.
I believe the NC State baseball team loaned, their coaching staff loaned their jackets to the NC State Ice Pack coaching staff.
And it's good to see Alabama, you know, following with the theming as well that we saw in years past, which you got to love it. App State had a special jersey last year with pinstripes as well. This will be icing, but no, it just adds to this game, Chris. You know, maybe just a one-off jersey, maybe you wear it a couple other times, or maybe sometimes like NC State's black uniforms that they wore at Carter Finley against North Carolina a couple years ago, it catches on and it holds such a significance, and that's why it makes this outdoor game even more special than the fact you're playing outside in the middle of Uptown Charlotte.
NC State ices the puck. Alabama wins an offensive zone draw. The shot pinballs through traffic and wide. Darlene to it back behind the goal. It's knocked loose to Austin Finch. Aiden Rady now trying to force it out. Unable to do so. Second effort gets it to center ice, but the Tide able to shoot it right back in. Forecheck is on for Shuley, putting pressure on behind the goal. Rady able to knock it loose for Finch to carry out. He's having trouble with it in his skates, though. Once again, Alabama floats it down the ice, and a chance here breaking in around Toyer was off his mark, but they couldn't get a shot away. An excellent effort there from Petrich to create that chance, but they couldn't quite finish. Now NC State, a little bit of a stumble there from Gianconti, who loses control. Be taken over by Grant Curtis, who backhands it out. NC State reverses it again. Brady chips it in and takes a hit. Ice Pack, though, need a change, so Alabama with some space here to set up. Cross ice pass intercepted by Reese Johnson. Trying to chip and chase, but that doesn't work out for him. Petrich took it away. He's trying to weave his way through the neutral zone. Stepping in, Ice Pack take it away. Herman plays it down low. Kaufman floats it out in front, nobody there. Lapani back at the blue line. Touched across, shot, tipped just wide. On the side of the goal, it's played off the net on the outside, and now we've got a little extra afterwards. Kaufman kind of floated the puck out in front. Now we've got a penalty coming up. Grant Curtis and Zach Herman going at it. Curtis didn't like whatever it was Kaufman did right after the play.
Well, they went after Kaufman the first time. Curtis for sure going to the box. Herman, I don't think he is because Curtis pushed him down. We're going to get a look at the end of the play. This is the second time Herman's been involved with a good little above the goal came here. Great opportunity. It's a good chance from Kaufman and just a great job getting back over from Jacobs. But NC State will have the game's first power play. They were lethal on it last night, Chris. They had 2 goals last night on the man advantage.
Oh, and there's so much skill, especially on that top unit for NC State. And Curtis getting a 2-minute minor for roughing. Great chance here for NC State to tie this thing up. This is not what you wanted if you're Alabama. Obviously, you never want to take a penalty, but NC State has definitely been the better team. Alabama has done a good job of keeping NC State, for the most part, out of the middle of the ice, even though they've had the zone for most of the time. But now you give them the chance, while they've already been able to move the puck around at 5-on-5, to do it with a man advantage.
Well, and Alabama was getting a lot better in terms of defense. NC State just has 1 shot on goal in the last about 3.5 minutes now. And Alabama was starting to get some pressure on the offensive end. They were able to move it to neutralize, create that neutral zone slog and battle that we saw a lot in the third period last night. But this power play is now going to be a great opportunity for NC State. Again, 2 goals on it last night. I mentioned the pregame, 33% success rate.
Well, NC State looks like they're going with 4 forwards. Thronson, the only defenseman, has the puck. Prasma out there with Johnson, Herman, and Govea as a puck deflects out of play, and looks like it got up into the crowd.
Everyone's all right.
And somebody's got a free puck.
Foul ball.
Deep down the right field line, too.
Yeah, exactly. I got one of those here at the stadium. I didn't catch it. It landed 3 rows behind me, but...
Another offensive zone draw. NC State controls. Thronson over to Johnson. Down into the corner. Govea will collect. Back up to Thronson again across Herman. He'll look it over. Pass back to the middle. Touched along by Thronson as Herman was under pressure. He couldn't control. And now NC State has to regroup in the neutral zone. Alabama with control. They'll kill some clock and shoot at the length of the ice.
And this is how they got their shorthanded goal at the start of the second period last night. They were able to clear the puck all the way down and set a forecheck up. It was Tyler Zen. He's not on this line right now, but here you go. They forced a turnover.
Walking in, backhand try will be swallowed up by Toyer. NC State going to have to be a little bit more vigilant on the power play. A little bit surprised to see that happen here tonight after that shorthanded goal last night.
Yeah, and especially when you got 3 defenders versus just 1 Alabama player. Last night it was 2v2 turned into 2v1 advantage for Alabama. That right there, if you're Tim Healy, head coach of the Ice Pack, that's unacceptable from your penalty kill unit, or excuse me, your power play unit to allow that opportunity, especially when it's a heavily favored defensive front. Now they can't get the puck back as Alabama gets a quick shot.
Yeah, and NC State is losing time here. Another turnover in the corner. Loose puck in the slot. Ice Pack will come away with it, mostly because they've got the numbers for it. Now they'll be able to move out. Down to 48 seconds on the power play. Drop pass just inside the line, causing some problems as Alabama has pressure. It'll be knocked down low. Patterson tracks it down. He'll look things over. Decides to walk it back behind the net. Up the wall, Gifford Able to find Labrizzi, the overtime hero last night. Under 30 left on the power play. One-timer from the high slot. Kicked away. Good shot there from Patterson. NC State's best chance on the man advantage so far. They have time with about 15 seconds left for one more push up the ice.
And that was a great opportunity for NC State. Darlene nearly got that rebound and cleaned things up. But look at this forecheck for Alabama again, Chris. They're going to kill the rest of this time. A very good-looking penalty kill for the Frozen Tide, minus maybe 2 good quality chances for the Ice Pack.
Another NC State player taken down right at the blue line. That was Gifford. Play will carry on. Labrizzi drops it back along for Darlene behind the goal. They'll return the favor. A little over halfway through this first period, Alabama winning 1-0 right now, despite the fact that NC State has outshot them 10-2 and carried, I would say, about 80% of the play at least in this first period so far.
Yeah, they definitely have, but again, they're down on the scoreboard 1-0. Alabama, it says only 2 shots on goal up there. They've had a couple more shot attempts. And now an icing call against them. The face-off dot was very swingy last night, meaning at first it started very neutral, then NC State won a lot in a row, then Alabama took over. It flipped back and forth a lot, and we're seeing it here again. Alabama able to get it up against the boards, try to win that puck back.
In the corner is a scrum. Alabama's Nolan Bolt plays it back behind. Darlene off the glass, can't clear. The Tide finally getting some pressure on the Ice Pack in their own end. Darlene again trying to play it up that near wall. This time they'll get it out. Rady trying to pool cue it along. Stuck in front of that Alabama bench now. Frozen Tide have a few players there, but the Ice Pack still find the loose puck. Lapani off the stick of Connie. That'll negate an icing call and allow play to continue. Up the wall, Matusik can't clear. NC State has Connie knocked down in the high slot, and the Tide take it away. Some extra collisions there in the middle of the ice. Starting to see the physicality ratchet up a bit here in this one.
And we saw a little bit of it last night, but both teams towards the end of the game really kept their composure there, as this is going to be an icing call against the Frozen Tide. But when you play a team for the 4th time in a row, me and Grace were talking about it last night, it's just like a Stanley Cup playoff game, and really a Stanley Cup playoff series. You're playing the same team over and over and over again. You're going to learn their tendencies. You're going to learn how to get underneath their skin, and you're going to hate going up against certain players every time you're on the ice with them and want to do everything you can to disrupt them.
8:05 left in this first period. Kaufman to take the draw up against Peter Kelly of Alabama. Kaufman wins it back. Lapani will slap it down around behind the goal for Johnson. Gets jammed up there. Johnson now side of the goal. Can't force it out in front. Now Nolan Bolt stuck there with Johnson, getting some help from Kelly, and he'll clear. But again, it's NC State in control at the red line. Shot back in by Cam Smith. Ice Pack will go in on the forecheck. Slapped around the wall. It's off the stick of Johnson and out. NC State will reset once more. Lapani decides to shoot it in this time. Again, back behind the goal. Max Owens pinned to the wall by Kaufman. They'll kick it back behind the goal. Matusik now bodied up, but he's able to clear. This should be icing on the Tide, as Smith will win the foot race. 7:18 left in the first period. You got to think at some point there's going to be a crack for Alabama if they can't get away from this pressure.
And if you're NC State, that crack needs to be right now, because they're going to bring out 5 fresh new skaters. Forward line 1, Prasma, Patterson, and Gifford. D line 1, Thronson, Labrizzi. But one thing to note, watch 13. Nick Labrizzi has done a fantastic job pinching down a little bit, but he's gotten a little aggressive at times when he pinches down, goes all the way behind the net on the O-zone.
Wind starting to pick up here as well. It was gusty last night. Supposed to be a little stronger tonight too. Almost lost my stat sheet. Puck deflects out of play. We'll get another defensive zone face-off for the Tide. It seems to be on repeat right now.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned the wind. It's really picked up the last hour or so. Flags out in center field, gusting.
Straight into Uptown.
Straight into Uptown towards center field from home plate.
Alabama wins another D-zone draw. Face-offs have started to even out a little bit more. Tide able to gain the red line and shoot it in. Labrizzi, well, it's going to go after it behind the net, but it caromed off that Zamboni door again. Ice Pack still able to break out. Gifford across the center line. Throws it right in on Jacobs. That will allow Alabama to clear again. Labreezy looking cross ice. Pops the stick of Prasma. He'll get to it over on the blue line. Chips it down low, but right to an Alabama defenseman in Dylan Steck. Ice Pack, hold the zone, backhand try right into the glove of Jacobs. Gifford on the shot. And we'll have some more pushing and shoving in a couple of different spots after the whistle.
Curtis at the center of again, this time with Patterson for NC State. You know, Curtis, they didn't really do a lot of that last night, Chris. He had a pretty level head. No really any extracurriculars, especially from him after the play. But tonight, maybe the outdoors has flipped the switch in his head a little bit. Maybe he's got an alter ego number 3.
6:26 on the first period clock now. It'll be Brandon Raleigh to take the faceoff for State. Dylan Drevny for Alabama. Looks like Coach Fairbanks and the Frozen Tide staff will have an explanation. I think they were hoping for a penalty there, particularly I think it was Kaufman knocked a Tide player's stick out of his hands. They thought they might get one there, but we'll stay 5-on-5 for now. Back behind the Tide net, it gets stuck up in the corner. Raleigh finds it out in front. Rinaldi can't get a shot away. Raleigh side of the goal, jamming away at it, still loose, and it works its way behind the goal. Govea comes away with it. He'll play it back around for Raleigh. Backhanded up the wall for Mason Payne. He's under some pressure, still holds the zone. Govea under the goal line, looking to center. That pass disrupted by Drevny. NC State still has possession. Rinaldi loses possession out of the zone. Payne now has it. NC State looking to go back to work. Off the wall for Raleigh. He'll direct it down low. Govea in on the forecheck, lays the body in the corner, plays it out to the slot. The one-timer from Rinaldi ends up wide of that far post. Now it's Darlene pinning it to the wall far side. 4-man scrum with Raleigh in there to help out. They'll jam away. Under 5.5 left in the period now. Couple extra bodies coming in to help out. And Alabama will take over. Austin Finch. Jacobs and into the corner. Alabama clears just to alleviate some pressure. They need some fresh legs out there too. They get one body off the bench. As we hit the 5-minute mark, Finch, he takes a hit. Puck deflects over to Darlene. He'll dump it in and get a change. Gianconti, the lone forechecker. Alabama able to work around him and move it forward. Chipped in by Kavanaugh. He'll go off for a change as well. Both teams just trying to get new bodies on the ice. From the blue line, wrist shot held on to by Toyer. Up to the challenge of Matusik. 4:39 to go in this first period. NC State still behind 1-0. 13-2 the shot totals. And NC State certainly has had the ice tipped in their favor most of the period, and it's even visible on the ice. You can see a lot more clean ice in the NC State defensive zone than Alabama's. It'll be swept back in as Connie blocks the shot out of the zone. Tate Sodden first to it behind the goal. Wrists it up the wall looking for Rady. It hops his stick, but a pass stolen away by Finch. He's got speed moving forward, having to go in all alone. Turns in the corner, has it caught up. Now Connie. Played across for Lapani. He'll hold, takes the shot through Rady. Not sure if the Ice Pack player there got a piece of it or not. Either way, Jacobs able to hold on for another face-off with 4:11 to go in the period. Well, my partner Nick Perazzi has made his way, or is making his way down to ice level right now. He will be heading onto the ice to talk with the NC State head coach at the first intermission. I'll be talking to head coach Tim Healy after the period comes to a close, but for now making his way down there. NC State in control. Lapani, the one-timer from the far point. That one whistles wide. Alabama comes away with it, and they'll skate it forward. Wristed right in on Toyer to stick wide of the net, and they'll battle for it in the corner. Ice Pack come away with it. Played forward by Kaufman, behind Herman though, and it'll be Sodden, taking a big hit as he plays it down low. Heavy hit laid there by Grant Curtis, who now has control behind his own net. Looks up the wall for Garrett Connor.
His pass intended for Tyler Zent. Can't connect. Again, it's Curtis. Lost control at his own blue line. Johnson gives it back to him, and the Bama defenseman can clear. Labrizzi slaps it off that far wall. It'll be surrendered to Angus Arnold of Alabama. He'll head man it. Moving in, Kamen throws it into that near corner. Patterson playing it behind his own goal. Now out in front, jamming away. Toyer makes the save. He'll hold on to the rebound. And got a little bit of a wrestling match between Kamen and NC State's Patterson there. That'll be broken up quickly. With 3:02 left in this first period. There's another look at the hit on Tate Sodden. That was a healthy crunch on the NC State defenseman. We've seen both teams trade some serious hits in this period. And a rare offensive zone draw for Alabama here in this first period. Shot from the point off the stick of Patterson and wide. They'll go after it behind the goal now. Kicked up looking for Labrizzi. Bama not going to let that happen. Kamen now down low. Work back into that corner once again. Now it'll be flipped up for Gifford. He finds an open teammate there in Thronson who can break it out for Prasma. Back to Gifford down the left wing. He'll look to the middle. Nothing there. Button hooks. Sweeps it out in front. Just missed Patterson, and now a break for Alabama moving the other way. Carson Kamen cutting to the middle. Throws one wide of the goal. Petrich has the only goal so far. Had his shot from that off angle blocked. Wristed from the point and wide as well. That one off the stick of Austin Fink, and now it'll be Toyer covering up. And again, some extra pushing and shoving in front of Isaac Toyer as he holds on for the whistle. Well, it sounds like our partner down there, Nick Perazzi, is back up and running for us. Nick, what's it looking like down there? Off the draw, see if we can't get a hold of Nick in a minute. Off the draw, Alabama wins it. Back behind the goal, Drevny. He'll be pinned between a couple of ice pack players. Govea lost his footing there, able to get back up and find the puck. Floats it up the wall for Rinaldi, who has it knocked away, but Darlene will skate it out himself. Here's Raleigh. Elevates one back behind the goal. Darlene in on the forecheck, but it's Alabama getting control. And the skates of Rocco McCullen. Back for Matusik. Now Max Owens chips it off the glass and out. Mason Payne will slow it up in neutral ice. Darlene now at his own blue line. Looking forward, ends up through the stick of Mason Payne. Icing is waved off. Alabama trying to break back up and out. Kavanaugh steps away from a hit and turns it over, but the Tide able to get back in control. Matusik looking forward. Little battle between Lapani and Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh winning that battle at the moment, but it'll be forced backwards, and the Tide will have to retreat. Matusik across for Owens. He'll play it forward to Peter Kenny.
Alabama's really turned the tide here, Chris. They are
definitely
gained some offensive zone time here.
Oh yeah, down to the final 60 seconds. Brandon Raleigh back behind the net. There he's got Smith. Right there in that corner. A four-man scrum. And it's just pinned there. I think Alabama happy to bleed a little extra clock here late in the period. Brandon Raleigh now with the loose puck at the red line, trying to spin away from pressure. Loses it right onto the stick of Holden Kaufman, who will flip it off the glass. Back behind the goal. Out in front, it hops the stick of Prasma, and NC State will have to get back. Forward with it, Nolan Bolt. Chipping it along, trying to connect with Kelly. Second effort. Hits Kelly, who's in the zone offside. 19 seconds left. And we got a stoppage there, but Alabama starting to tip the ice a little bit more in their favor, Nick, here late in the period.
Yeah, they definitely are. Ever since I came down here, Alabama's been getting a lot more shots on goal. They might have got away with a little penalty there on a couple stoppages earlier where Petrich was given a couple whacks on Toyer, knocked the puck out. Nothing was called, but I think the big part right now, Chris, is Alabama's being able to get some turnovers and come the other way quickly.
One more chance to push for NC State. Wristed wide by Thronson from that near point. Back up, one-timer Johnson. Oh, it deflects off the stick of Jacobs. He loses it, and the puck's cleared out. Not enough time for a chance here, and the period will come to an end. A little bit of a late shot at the buzzer, and NC State didn't like that. Shuley, the guilty party, but they're going to break things up here, I think, before these two teams head off the ice. Nick, it was a heck of a period from NC State. They played their game almost to a T, but they weren't quite able to find the back of the net.
For the first 15 minutes, NC State outplayed Alabama. There's no doubt about it, but Alabama was able to even things up as they went through that period. But the big difference right now, when NC State outplayed Bama, Alabama was the one that found the back of the net. NC State's got a lot of good quality chances, but again, Perry Jacobs played out of his mind last night. He's doing it again tonight.
Yeah, it looks like head coach Tim Healy making his way over to you right now, Nick. The Ice Pack making their way off the ice. Shots are 14-6 in favor of the Pack at the moment, but again, a 1-0 lead right now for Alabama. Nick, we'll get it down to you as you've got head coach Tim Healy with you.
Coach, first period down on the scoreboard. Those first couple of minutes, though, you really outplayed them. Do you think anything needs to change on offense?
I mean, we outplayed them the whole period, right? If you look at the shots, we got to be up 17-5 or something like that. I actually thought we played a great period. I think in these outdoor games, you kind of almost expect one fluky goal either way, right? And I think, they just happened to get theirs in the first period. We have to stay on it. We'll get ours. Forecheck's been great. There's a lot of hockey cliches out there that we're doing well. So it's going to come. We're playing well right now.
And Coach, last year, the event here did not go your guys' way, especially in that third period. What's been the message going into this one to avoid what happened last year and flip the table?
It's a new team. There's 16 new guys on this team. This team's never been on this ice before as constructed. Right now we're playing well. I have no complaints with how we're playing. Sure, we'd like to have that one back, but if we keep going, they'll come.
They will come is what Coach Healy's message is going into the first intermission, Chris.
Thank you, Nick. NC State, as we heard, they're doing a great job, really doing everything they need to, and Coach Tim Healy happy with with the way they're playing, just haven't gotten the results yet. We'll talk about that and how they might get some results in the second period when we come back with the first intermission report. Right now, 1-0 Alabama after 20 minutes.
After 20 minutes, the Frozen Tide leading the Ice Pack 1-0. Chris Lehman back alongside, I would believe, a little bit of a tired Nick Perazzi making the run back up here from ice level.
I ran track over here, Chris. I'm a sub-5 miler. I'm a 2-minute half miler. It's all right. Shout out the elevator, though. We're not stopping on the way up here.
Well, we're going to talk about what happened in that first period. As you talked about with head coach Tim Healy, the team's playing really how he wants them to play, and he's happy with it. It's just what happens sometimes where you play as the better team for most of the period, and it's just one bounce that doesn't go your way.
And he really just told me, we're not going to change how we're going to play. There's no need to. It's the same system as last night. They just haven't been able to find the back of the net.
Yeah.
Alabama made a good adjustment, though, in the middle of that period, deciding, hey, if we get a puck, we're rolling down the ice, getting some odd man rushes, and that's been generating Bama some offensive success. They've got the cam going, Chris. I got to do it. They've had about 6 or 7 opportunities on the break, but for the most part, if you're Alabama, you got to be happy with the last 5 minutes of that period.
Yeah, it's something to build off of, certainly. And one other thing that they did very well was kill off the power play. NC State has a potent power play. They had a great chance midway through that period while they had the momentum to capitalize on it, and they weren't able to find the back of the net.
No, they weren't, but I think right now, for the Ice Pack specifically, you're getting a lot of great chances. Yeah, sure, you're going to get those fluky bounces. That's what Tim Healy said. You're expecting each team really to get a goal off a fluky bounce. They just haven't gotten them right now. They've had high-quality chances. I think right now what NC State can do, though, is crash that rebound a little harder. 3 or 4 times that period, Eric Dahlin had a prime opportunity just late getting to that juicy rebound in front. Crashing the net, Hornets Nest Fury in front, like you mentioned at the top of the show. Yep. That's going to be the key to success for how NC State beats Perry Jacobs in the net right now.
Absolutely. You mentioned Perry Jacobs. He has been fantastic, has made a couple of 10-bellers. If it weren't for him, NC State could have 2, maybe 3 goals already. We'll talk a little bit more about him, and we'll look at some highlights from the first period when we come back. 1-0 Tide right now.
There are no shortcuts. on the road to success. It's forged by confidence, purpose, and determination. Everyone has potential. Few have the power to unlock it. The University of Alabama, where legends are made.
I would never show my teeth. Never. Would never smile. And it forces you into this submission of silence because you don't think that anybody's going to take what you have to say seriously. Invisalign has changed my life forever.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, Ice Pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all Ice Pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
The love of hockey starts early. It builds more than skills, it builds spirit. Every drill creates a winner within. Grit and determination earn scholarships. Each stride builds a dream. The Wake Competition Center, the official practice facility of the Carolina Hurricanes.
I would never forget the picture that I have. I'm the only one that's not smiling. Even though I'm with my close friends, I felt alone. I didn't feel pretty, I didn't feel confident. When I got Invisalign, I built my confidence. It was the best investment that I could do.
When you look at me, you might see
a person with Parkinson's disease.
But if you look closer,
You'll see
A warrior mom.
an endurance athlete.
someone with a lot of fight.
every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association.
Look closer.
My spirit
Is
unshakable.
Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
We talk forever about the future. Worry about it, or wish it closer. We try to glimpse the places we'll go, from ocean depths to the far side of the moon. At NC State University, the future is a thing you make, with bright ideas, new tools, and a wolf pack behind you. Tell us where you're headed. We'll help you get there. NC State. Think and do.
Welcome back to the first intermission here in game number 3 of the 704 outdoor face-off, the final one of weekend number 1. Chris Lehman, Nick Perazzi with you, and right now, Nick, Alabama with a 1-0 lead. We're going to take a look at how we got here, and for Alabama, it's all about taking advantage of one opportunity, and it was a goal for Petrich off an off angle.
Yeah, it was. Just kind of threw it in on net, and, sometimes that's the best look at it. You take a look at it up close. I mean, you just put it on net, good things will happen eventually. Best look that we got was right above the goal cam. Again, just skating deep into his own zone, decides, hey, maybe I could throw one off the side of him, and that's exactly what ended up happening there. But again, though, there could have been a call for goaltender interference there, Chris. It was not called. A little bit light, but again, that might have been a potential chance for NC State and a break for them.
Yeah, NC State, even though they are down, they have played a fantastic period, and it's all been about Perry Jacobs. You see there, seeing shots through traffic. He's been able to find the puck. He's controlled his rebounds pretty well also, which is why I think they need to take his eyes away a little bit more.
I mean, he's got to try out to be a first baseman on the baseball team. I mean, there's no way he could flash the leather like that every single game, every night, every play, every shot. He's taken over the game once again. A couple of 10 bells last night. He's made a couple of them already tonight. They're at about 15 shots on goal for NC State, and he saved all of them. Very reminiscent of that second period last night.
Yeah, and for Alabama, you mentioned it earlier on in that first period, about midway through. It's not a sustainable game for them right now. They've done a really good job of kind of weathering the storm and limiting NC State as much as they can, but they've got to find a way to flip the pressure back the other way. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about how NC State can break through when we come back. Just a few minutes away from puck drop for the second period between NC State and Alabama. Right now, a 1-0 lead for the Frozen Tide. And Nick, as we take a look ahead at period number 2, as we said, not a sustainable model right now for Alabama, but they're going to have to find a way, and they did a little bit at the end of the period. They've got to find a way to break up that NC State forecheck.
They really do, and again, they started going with, all right, if we get the puck, we're going straight down the ice. That's worked for them so far. It's not going to work the entire game, because what's going to happen is Alabama's going to make a quick pass. That's going to be an errant. It's going to be the wrong decision. All of a sudden, NC State's got numbers the other way. But Chris, NC State's got to solve Perry Jacobs in net right now. And I think the way you do it, you create that chaos in front of the net, have the puck there, but then pass that puck to the point. That's how NC State got a goal last night on a backhand with Patterson.
Yeah, and building off of that, taking away the eyes, getting that chaos in front is going to be important, because the harder it is to see the puck, the harder it is to control if you're Jacobs in net. And if you're NC State, I think that's the way you're going to get your first goal of the night, is by getting it on net, finding a rebound, and finding the back of the net after you find that rebound. Well, we're just about set for period number 2. We'll step aside one more time and be back with the second 20 minutes after this.
I would never show my teeth. Never. Would never smile. And it forces you into this submission of silence, because you don't think that anybody's going to take what you have to say seriously. Invisalign has changed my life forever.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, Ice Pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all Ice Pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
The love of hockey starts early. It builds more than skills, it builds spirit. Every drill creates a winner within. Grit and determination earn scholarships. Each stride builds a dream. The Wake Competition Center, the official practice facility of the Carolina Hurricanes.
I would never forget the picture that I have. I'm the only one that's not smiling. Even though I'm with my close friends, I felt alone. I didn't feel pretty, I didn't feel confident. When I got Invisalign, I built my confidence. It was the best investment that I could do.
There are no shortcuts on the road to success. It's forged by confidence, purpose, and determination. Everyone has potential. Few have the power to unlock it. The University of Alabama, where legends are made.
I would never show my teeth. Never. Would never smile. And it forces you into this submission of silence, because you don't think that anybody's going to take what you have to say seriously. Invisalign has changed my life forever.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, Ice Pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all Ice Pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
I would never forget the picture that I have. I'm the only one that's not smiling. Even though I'm with my close friends, I felt alone. I didn't feel pretty, I didn't feel confident. When I got Invisalign, I built my confidence. It was the best investment that I could do.
Nick Perazzi here as the Alabama Frozen Tide take the ice. Hey, the all-new ESPN app has arrived. It's all of ESPN all in one place. It's your home for the most and best live sports and a whole new way to experience ESPN. With over 47,000 live events, studio shows, and ESPN originals and brand new features, it's a sports fan's dreams. Personally, tomorrow, my fantasy team, Chris, doing pretty good right now. I'm going to track my fantasy team while I watch TV, especially on Monday night, too, or for Monday Night Football on ESPN. The future of sports has arrived, and it's called ESPN. So download the ESPN app on your TV or mobile device, log in, and start streaming. And I bet you some of these fans walking at home, Chris, had multi-view on with the football games going on, and, well, Both of these schools had heartbreaking defeats today. Alabama lost to Oklahoma, and NC State got the brake speed off of them down in Miami.
Yeah, but I think if you're a real fan of North Carolina hockey, if you've got that multi-view last night, you could have had 3 different games on at the same time, all from North Carolina, happening in North Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
You had UNC and South Carolina here, NC State and Alabama up in Raleigh, and just down the road from you guys up there were the Carolina Hurricanes and the Vancouver Canucks. You get a multi-viewed all 3 of those games.
And how did all of those games end, Chris?
Overtime 4-3.
Every game that was on ESPN hockey last night.
Fantastic.
All in overtime. Every NHL game ended in overtime. Every game in the state of North Carolina for hockey, overtime. Just a fantastic night overall. And who knows? Maybe it continues here Saturday night in Charlotte.
And this is the final game of the first weekend. We'll have 3 more games next weekend. Georgia Tech and East Carolina on Thursday. Then on Friday, it'll be Georgia and Virginia Tech. And wrapping things up, the classic matchup between Charlotte and App State on Saturday. All those games scheduled to start at 7:30. And based on the way the ice crew has been able to get the ice together for this one tonight, I think we're going to be right on schedule for all of those games next week. It's been impressive with temperatures getting up into the 70s.
Yeah.
And, this isn't, a crew that's got the resources of an NHL crew, so they don't really have the ability to cover much of the ice, and they still have been able to get it ready despite the conditions. It's impressive.
If you're from North Carolina, you know how this weather can be. It snowed here in Charlotte Monday and Tuesday. Got a couple of flurries, even a trace of an inch, 5th early snowfall ever, and then it's going to be in the mid-70s today and tomorrow.
NC State and Alabama switching ends. The Ice Pack will move left to right across your screen here in the second. The Crimson Tide, or rather the Frozen Tide, will move right to left. Cross ice pass, skate to stick for Kaufman. His shot blocked on the way in, and Bama takes over. Back check, though, at the blue line from Johnson, knocks it loose, and NC State has control. Up the left wing, Kaufman hands it off for Herman. His centering pass picked off and knocked into the corner. Awkward Karamov. Stanchion redirects the puck out in front. Tide still able to skate it out. Trevor Risser chips it deep, chased after by Petridge, the goal scorer. Throws it in front, nobody there in a crimson jersey. And NC State catches a break as Alabama throws it in offsides. It'll be a center ice faceoff here.
Well, both teams kind of feeling each other out the first 58 seconds. NC State got, I believe, more of an opportunity in the O-zone. But I think for the most part, Chris, the rest of this game, it's going to be whoever can just keep the puck in the O-zone. The way that the third period went last night, the way that the end of the first period went tonight, it's really going to be about possession. And unlike the overtime game where I said it was about possession, Grace Mata was right last night. It was going to be whoever can just get down the ice the quickest and generate chances.
Tusick at the red line, shovels one into the NC State zone. Darlene retrieves it. Up that left side, Gifford hands it off for Patterson with speed. He'll skate into the offensive zone and stop on a dime. Leaves it for Prasma, centered for Gifford, and it's through his skates. Bama back in control. A bouncing puck, though, taken over by Patterson. NC State will reverse the other way. Prasma off the wall looking for Gifford. They can't connect, but Daniel Prasma keeps it in the zone with a skate before it's intercepted by Arnold. And Alabama back the other direction. Risser down that left wing, skates around Payne, but there are too many black jerseys there for him to get behind the net. They'll move back up the wall. Pestered there by Mason Payne, who takes it away. He'll just touch it around the boards. Darlene trying to sweep it out unsuccessfully. Shot back in by Curtis, but NC State's Prasma takes over. As he tried to step around a man in neutral ice, it's taken away. Here come the Tide, dragging, shooting. That one deflects wide. Spun back out in front by Arnold. Controlled by Kamen. Looking to the middle, loose in the slot. And NC State able to clear.
That's what NC State has to kind of eliminate from Alabama when they get some O-zone time, is those deflections in traffic in front. That's how they got 2 of their goals last night.
2.5 minutes into the second period. Alabama doing a much better job this period, getting off to a better start. They're going to be offside here, though, and the puck will come out into the neutral zone. Shots 14-6, no shots this period so far. So the Ice Pack more than doubling up Alabama in that category. They're still looking to even things up.
This is something we saw a lot of last night. A lot of players got kicked out from the faceoff dot, really for both teams. And a couple of the times it was just stick placement. They didn't even move. It's just the way they placed their stick.
Oh, Alabama in on the forecheck. Lapani there for the Pack. Moved around for Rinaldi on the left wall. Breakout pass finds Raleigh. He chips it forward, but nobody in a black jersey, so Grant Curtis flips it back into the NC State end. Tate Sod in there with it. Hacks at it up that right wing wall. Curtis has trouble holding the zone. Big hit in front of the Tide bench, and that will give an opportunity for
got
Peter
Bama,
Kelly.
Bama player in the NC State bench there as well. A lot of bodies being thrown around in front of the benches, and I think we're going to get a penalty for it here.
And NC State going to be called for a slashing penalty, it looks like. There's the big hit on the big board. We're going to look here at the penalty. Or rather, pardon me, at the hit. Raleigh saw it coming. And actually, it's an Alabama penalty. A slashing penalty on Curtis, his second penalty of the game. And NC State with a second opportunity on the power play. They are 0 for 1 so far. It'll be Govea on the faceoff. One backwards, but whistles before we can get going. A little bit of misalignment, it looks like, on that faceoff, so we'll do it again.
NC State 0 for 1 on the power play. Had a great couple of chances, but when they have to break out from their own end, Alabama's been forechecking them fantastically. Maybe NC State could try to catch them off guard, though, and use that to their advantage.
Prasma and Herman playing catch in that near corner. Daniel Prasma pivoting to Herman, throws it off the side of the goal and retrieves it behind the net. He'll backing it out in front. Prasma looking for an lane, and a shot fought off by Jacobs. Pitching in Thronson, can't hold the zone, and it's a shorthanded 2-on-1 for the Tide. Walking in, shot coming, save made by Toyer on Garrett Connor, and now NC State has numbers back up ice. Prasma walks it in, steps to the high slot, chips it wide of the goal. It'll be slapped back up the wall, but held in by Thronson. Down to Prasma again. He'll touch it along for Herman. Out in front, quick try, ends up wide of the goal, and this time Alabama clears.
Oh, that could have got very dangerous for the Ice Pack coming the other way. 2-on-1, and Johnson, supposed to be Thronson, the only one back for the Ice Pack, as well, Johnson knocked the stick out of a Bama player there. That's Shuley without a stick right now on the PK.
He'll go straight to the bench. NC State still not able to get out of their own end right now. Down under a minute left on the man advantage. Thronson will play it along for Herman to move forward. He's got some pace down that right wing. Steps around Matusik and into the corner. Looking to the middle. That pass deflects back behind the goal. Johnson kicks it to his stick. Looks across. He's got Herman again in that near corner. And now he'll look it over once more. Kaufman trying to spin out of pressure in that far corner. Leaving it for Prasma, but it's stolen away and sent back to Toyer on the other end of the rink. Down to 23 seconds of power play time.
Well, NC State finally going to get that PP1 group out from off the ice, but they've got to do a set play there here, I think, Chris. 15 seconds to go. It's going to be Darlene racing down the left side.
He'll fire a slap shot wide. Kaufman retrieves it on that near wall. Penalty just about over. Played over to Labrizzi. His shot might have caught the blocker of Jacobs. And the power play over. NC State now 0 for 2 off the stick of Labrizzi on that far side post, and he couldn't finish. Golden opportunity for NC State. Gifford throws it on goal. That one's fought off by Jacobs, and down the ice. Jacobs a little bit slow getting up back in his crease. Keep an eye on him. As you mentioned, Nick, he was shaken up in the game last night. Might be feeling it a little bit tonight now. Here come the Tide. They've got a 2-on-1 forward. Petrich sliding it across. Oh, and it's pinned to the far side post by Isaac Toyer. And play will stop as it's covered up. Another great chance for Alabama. We'll get a look from behind the goal.
Another 2-on-1. Ooh.
And that one went off the side of the goal. Yeah.
It looked like it almost went off of Toyer's pad as well there. And we get a little more elevation, a little more heat on that. Now it's 2-0 Alabama off some funny bounces. But for now it stays 1-0. But again, that's two 2-on-1 breaks that Alabama has had in the last 2 minutes now. If you're NC State, you've got to adjust to it. You got to realize they are going to go down the ice the second they get the puck, and you've got to get back.
NC State looking to break out. Rinaldi saucers one to the middle. Tracked down off the wall by Govea. He'll squeeze through a hit and fight his way down low. Puck pops off the wall. Backhand try and a save made by Jacobs. Alabama carries it right back out. Once again, it's Petrich. He's going to lug it to the net, sweeps it wide of the goal. It'll be held in over in front of the Alabama bench by Parks Wallace. But it'll get out of play, and we'll stop the clock with 13:36 to go in the period. Shots 3-2 in favor of NC State here early in the second.
Yeah, Alabama's really kind of caught up a little bit, if you will, in terms of getting this game even. They did it in the last 5 minutes of the first period. They're doing it again through the first now 6.5 minutes of this period.
Well, and you do have to wonder, as NC State has to deal with in a defensive zone draw here, if they can get one, you wonder if a few more follow after that because of how many chances they've had. Alabama wins the draw, quick shot, pinballs wide. Toyer seals off that near post, and NC State will take control. Smith chips it forward. Govea down the left wing, floats one on goal, sticked away by Jacobs. And Alabama clears it down the ice. This one's not going to have enough gas for icing, so we'll play on. Smith rips it around the wall. Govea at his own blue line. It pops up in the air, pawed down there by Owens, and I think we'll have a hand pass that stops play as Kamen touches up.
Well, now Alabama is generating ozone time, and they're the ones that have the ice tilted in their advantage. It's a really great adjustment from Mike Fairbanks and this Alabama team. They've done a great job battling back to NC State's dominance in terms of time of possession. They're trying to flip it now, and that's exactly what they've done this period, Chris. And if you're NC State, you've got to try to eliminate that because you're down on the scoreboard 1. 2, going down 2-0, in the second period right now. That is not going to be a recipe for success for the rest of this game.
Gianconni will dump and chase. First one to it, Matusik for Bama. Played up the wall. Rady slows it down but doesn't stop it. Kelly able to carry out of the zone before Thronson stops it up at the red line. Following through, though, for the Tide is Max Owens. He'll skate it into the corner. Sweeps it out. High slot. Shot coming. Toyer gets a blocker to it, and NC State has the rebound.
That's the best look, Chris, that they've had all night, in my opinion, for Alabama. Traffic in front of Toyer. They go right to the slot. Cameron just can't find the back of the net there.
NC State in control. Shot coming. Misses the blocker side of Toyer, but Bama to it again. McCullen. His centering pass denied by Labrizzi, who takes possession. He'll skate it up that left wall at the red line. He dumps it in because the ice pack need a change. Rady on the forecheck lays a hit. Bama still able to possess as the puck floats past McCullen. Shot from the blue line for Darlene is blocked. It'll be chased down on the far wall. Johnson putting on some pressure. That will force a dump. And it'll be icing on Alabama, and a chance here for NC State. Maybe some tired legs for the Tide. And it looks like they'll go with their top line, Kaufman, Herman, and Johnson here.
Yeah, and NC State needed that change, Chris. Rady was getting back onto the bench. He was very, very tired. I mean, a couple big hits. That's what's going to happen when you're in four-star play, several consecutive minutes on the ice. Much needed change for the ice pack. And I really like this line they got out there. It's that second line. They kind of switched the first and second line a little bit. And they produced a lot of pressure, especially tonight. And it looks like they'll get another, no icing here.
Well, the Tide not making any changes here at the moment. We get a couple of new bodies on the ice with NC State pinned behind their goal. Darlene up to the left wing. He's got Johnson cutting to the middle. He couldn't take the puck with him. And it'll be floated out of the zone by Alabama.
That's something Alabama's changed, Chris. When NC State, they love to bring the puck up on the wing. So Alabama will pinch them right up against the boards, have someone in the lane to steal the pass.
Here's Herman, off-angle shot. Caught the blocker of Jacobs. NC State holds the zone. Pass out in front off a skate. Kaufman has it again behind the goal. Looking for some reinforcements. Finds Johnson. Out in front for Herman. Couldn't corral it. Kaufman back in the corner. Up top for Darlene. He'll shoot it through traffic. Padded away there by Jacobs. First one to it, Herman. Lost an edge, but still found a teammate as Johnson plays it back up top. Darlene throws it off of Johnson. Now Herman. Back to Johnson. Looking to the middle, that pass deflected away, and now Alabama can skate it out in the form of Tyler Zent. He'll chip and chase, the Tide getting a change. NC State Trying to set up the breakout. Mason Payne left all alone behind the goal, a 2-on-1. Alabama takes over. Loose in front on the centering pass. Unable to get a shot away was Petrich, and now NC State can clear.
And that's exactly how NC State gave up that shorthanded goal last night. Behind the net, 2 Alabama players with a great forecheck. They just push up NC State against the boards. They make them make a mistake, and they win the puck back. And they generate another high-quality chance in the slot.
Awkward Karam, then a centering pass hit a skate and deflected into that far corner. NC State almost had a lucky bounce of their own. Back behind the goal, Patterson works it up the wall. Sodden flips one towards the net, and Jacobs has seen enough. He wants a stoppage, and so he'll hold it in the glove. A little over halfway through this contest now. NC State out shooting Alabama 20-9 on the game and 6-3 this period. Still haven't found the back of the net, though.
No, they haven't, and you're starting to get worried if you're NC State that you're not going to be able to solve the freshman from Reno, Nevada, Perry Jacobs. He's just been dialed in all night long. A couple of weird bounces have come his way. They've gone wide, and he's been up to the task all night long.
Shot from that near point. Lapani can't find the net. Sodden will slap it cross ice. Taken off the wall. It'll be steered back down low by Gifford. Tied up there. Loose puck. Shot from Lapani off a blocker into the near corner. Gifford throws it out in front. Bouncing around on that far side of the goal. Collected by Alabama. And it's Angus Arnold looking to clear. Moved up that right wing. Misses Petrich. This one's long, and they're going to whistle icing.
Ooh.
NC State got a little bit lucky. Sawyer had to play that because of how tight it was in there. And now these two teams starting to show a little bit of that disdain, I think, that's been developing over the last couple weekends.
Had a face wash there. I believe Trevor Rizzer of Alabama, and I think he's going to go to the box for it, Chris. Yep, that's exactly what it's going to be. And you just can't have that for Alabama. They snow Toyer after really the refs gave NC State a good chance there, and then just some pushing and shoving after the play. But then Rizzer, I'm looking at him on the big screen right now, gave a good little jab there. Take a look at it on the far end. It was on Lapani. There it is right there. And so it's going to be a roughing penalty. Third power play for NC State, second of the period. 0 for 2 tonight. They had 2 power play goals last night, but Chris, tonight, they've just been struggling a little bit in terms of getting it set up.
Yeah, but if you're Alabama, you can't play with fire too much because eventually you're going to get burned. And with the way that NC State has controlled most of this game, not quite as much in the second, but they're still looking good. One-timer and a glove saved by Jacobs. Not sure if it was on goal, but it was an impressive glove grab either way.
I mean, if he can swing a baseball bat, he needs to be on this Crimson Tide baseball team, Chris. I mean, he just extends from going in that squatted position all the way up top, gets it with the top of the glove, makes the save. I mean, he really just loves flashing his leather.
Another face-off win for NC State. Bronson under pressure. Bama able to chip it out. Chasing after it, Kavanaugh trying to create something shorthanded. He'll be forced into the wall behind by Prasma, and the loose puck collected by Reese Johnson. Headmans it for Govea. Touch to Herman. They can't quite connect, and now Alabama clears once again.
How about Alabama again creating some pressure against NC State? Kavanaugh coming the other way. He's going to get a nice little forecheck again. But Prasma's just got the speed to catch up to them. Otherwise, I believe Kavanaugh gets a shot off there.
Cross ice did Prasma for Herman into the middle. Govea, and he puts it right into the gut of Jacobs. And he'll hold on with 1:16 left on the power play. NC State keeping that top unit out there.
It's the exact same location where Govea got his goal last night. This time it was off a set play, and this time Perry Jacobs wasn't injured on the play, so he was able to stay in his position and be able to hold that post and make that save.
Face off to the glove side of Jacobs here. It'll be Govea for NC State. But it's Shuley who wins the draw for the Frozen Tide. Penalty kill can't clear though. Stuck up at the blue line. Second effort gets it out. NC State will have to reset once more. 8:20 left in the second. Halfway through the man advantage now. A roughing penalty to Trevor Rizzer. Here goes Prasma. His shot catches a stick and ends up out of play. And a face-off in the offensive zone again as we'll get the second power play unit onto the ice now for NC State.
And we'll get really 5 new bodies for NC State, 4 for Alabama out there. Both teams going to go with their second lines right now. And this NC State second power play group they've had a good bit of chances, Chris. They like to keep the puck up against the boards, keep that zone time, but the question is, can they move around and find some empty space? Alabama's done a great job of taking that space away from almost everybody against NC State.
Darlene's shot hits a skate and ricochets into that near corner, cleared out right onto the stick of Kamen, and he's going to carry behind the goal. Didn't quite have the angle for a breakaway. But NC State putting themselves in a dangerous situation. Here's the chance. Pad saved by Torrier. He stretches out on Nolan Bolt, and NC State moves back up ice. 25 seconds left on the power play. Gifford leaves it for Labrizzi. Swept across to Darlene. Down under 20 seconds left on the man advantage. Pass intercepted. Bama can clear. Darlene will take it back at the red line. Skates it forward himself. Chance for NC State if they hurry. Gifford looking to the middle. Oh, Darlene got it in the air, but he couldn't deflect it on goal. Alabama will clear one more time, and NC State now 0 for 3 on the man advantage.
Oh, and again, they nearly gave up another shorthanded goal. It was a sprawling save from Toyer to make that not happen. That one's going to miss, and it'll be icing against the Tide. But Chris, it's becoming a bit worry if you're NC State getting back when you're on the power play and preventing a breakaway opportunity or an odd man rush. It's just happened way too many times this game. 2 2-on-1s on the second power play they had, the breakaway this last one, and then they had a couple chances last night, Alabama did, and they capitalized on that forecheck from it. So if you're NC State, you've got to start changing something against it, because Alabama is having a lot of success on the penalty kill.
NC State, a good opportunity here. That second penalty kill unit still out there for Alabama. The only fresh set of legs was Trevor Risser, who was in the box. And the Ice Pack have their best, or one of their top units out there with some fresh legs. Govea couldn't direct it on goal. Rinaldi stepping in on that far wall. Alabama able to force it out of the zone, though. And they might be able to get some fresh legs, but now it's a 3-on-2 for NC State. Govea to Rinaldi, back to Govea. One-timer, he scores! NC State finally breaks through, and it's 1-1.
Chris, you said it. You can only play with fire for so long until it burns you. I love making that phrase happen in our broadcast. You do it today, and that's exactly what happens. Govea's second goal in as many nights, and it's just because NC State entered on an odd man rush. And look at this pass that they give to Govea. He makes the pass. He stays right in the middle of the ice. He's in front of the Alabama forward trying to come back and play defense. He gets a great snipe against Jacobs, and we're tied at 1.
And look at Cam Raleigh here. Takes away the eyes of Jacobs. A little bit of a late reaction. You could tell he didn't see it all the way. And NC State finally on the board, 1-1, as we're back underway here in the second period. See what kind of a response Alabama has. NC State looking for some extra jump out of that. Kaufman down low, gets the pass from Johnson back to the middle, deflects back out. Raleigh can't get to it as it's poked along, and out come the Tide. This is Garrett Connor. Shot off the blocker of Toyer from that far circle. Bama back to it behind the goal. Good pressure from Cam Smith. Can't get possession, though. Centered out to the high slot. Worked back to Matusik at the blue line. His shot hits the skate of Lapani, who blocks it. Matusik elevates it up and out. Now it's a fly ball out into right field. We'll get a face-off in the NC State zone.
How about Alabama, though, again, responding immediately. A sprawling play from Max Owens prevents a great opportunity for NC State. It leads to an opportunity for the Alabama Frozen Tide as well. But, it's now 1-1 with about 6 minutes to go in this period. I think right now you're just trying to build momentum for that second period. If you net one home, it's fine. But the way this game has gone, I don't know if we see that second goal unless NC State has magically solved Perry Jacobs and can just find more in the back of the net. But I don't think that's going to happen, Chris. The way he's been playing, the way Alabama's been helping him out recently, I just don't see NC State being able to open floodgates, if you will, right now.
Angus Arnold breaks into the zone himself. Shoots it deep. Giancani now directs it back out for NC State. Aiden Rady carrying it through the neutral zone. His pass to the middle for Austin Finch is disrupted, and Alabama quickly moves it back up ice. Arnold again from the blue line. Throws it off the defenseman in front of him in Thronson. And Labrizzi collects. Up for Finch. He'll skate it out. Petrich bodies him up as he loses control. Bama back into the offensive end again. Rady with the steal. NC State can move forward here in transition now. Finch to Rady, and they're offside. I think it was Gifford a little bit late getting back. And so a stoppage, face-off comes out on top of the Alabama blue line. Ice Pack and tied at 1 with 5:03 left in this period. Shots are now 24-11 NC State. It's 10-5 on the period, and we're going to get another power play. Alabama, not what they're looking for. It'll be Dylan Steck going to the box. And it is the 4th power play for NC State tonight. It's going to be a too many men on the ice penalty. A mental error in NC State, a 4th opportunity to capitalize on the power play. Govea out in front, they score! Govea to Herman, 2-1 Ice Pack. Joey Govea, fresh off a goal, picks up the assist. And this is what I thought might end up happening. NC State, you get some luck with a too many men on the ice penalty, but it's a tough one for the goaltender, Jacobs. The pass comes from below the goal line, so he has to go from looking over his shoulder to trying to square up. And from behind here, I think what you'll see is he stays back on his line. He doesn't come out to take away the angle, and as a result, NC State ends up picking up another goal. It took just 10 seconds of power play time. And NC State now 1 for 4 on the man advantage with a 2-1 lead. Trying to go right back to work. Far side at the red line, Tyler Zent. Move forward, Shuley shot, trickles through Toyer, and they stuff it home. Quick response from Bama, and just like that, we're tied back up at 2.
Goal from Alabama. Now Baz Shuley had one last night. He's able to net one home again tonight, tie the game at 2. And again, I mentioned it earlier, the response from both of these teams after they give up a goal is remarkable. And finally it pays off for one of them. Shuley just able to get it, just barely past Isaac Toyer. A great chance. And again, NC State having trouble getting back and play defense on those Alabama breaks.
Yeah, it's about the transition for Alabama. They've been opportunistic tonight, like we've talked about a lot. NC State more than doubling up the Tide in shots right now, but it's a 2-2 hockey game. Zent had an assist on that last goal. He'll risk one over top of Toyer. But Bama right back to work, trying to regain the lead they lost only a couple minutes ago. NC State tied the game at 1 with 6:45 to go in the period. In 2 minutes and 5 seconds, we saw 2 more goals. So 3 total goals in 2 minutes and 5 seconds between these two teams, finally starting to open things up after over 30 minutes with just 1 goal.
These teams have figured out the goalies, I think. Chris was talking about how NC State, well, they got a good chance here with Patterson.
To Prasma, skate to stick, shot, rebound, gets past Gifford, who was crashing that near post. And now Alabama out in transition. Some speed moving forward. Shot off the glass behind Toyer. Cam in with that drive. And now NC State flips it to that far side wall looking for space. Gifford has 2 Frozen Tide players on him. Dumps it off for Tate Sodden to elevate out. It'll be knocked down by Dylan Steck. He can't clear. Lapani tees one up. Swallowed up by the goaltender Jacobs. And we'll get another stoppage with 3:25 to go. But this game is really escalating.
Well, it has it again. It goes back to them playing 4 straight games in a row now. 2 Thursday and Friday down in Alabama. 2 yesterday and today here in North Carolina. And again, we mentioned it. The more and more you play against it, the more and more you dislike each other. You don't like the play style. You remember a hit you might have made last week. It gets back to you, and you're always looking for that revenge, and you're always looking to run up them.
An offensive zone draw here for NC State. It'll be Cam Raleigh against Angus Arnold. of the Frozen Tide. Raleigh wins it. Rinaldi's shot deflects into the corner. Collected by Govea. Looking to the middle. It pops up in the air off a stick. Govea back to it at the blue line, but he can't hold his own. And now on his horse's wrist or to the middle. One-timer doesn't get through. Sliding block by Raleigh on the second chance. Still some pressure from the Tide, though. Labrizzi, pardon me, trying to clear up the wall and can't. Now Raleigh plays it off the boards and out. This should be collected by Fink to negate icing. Alabama will try and set up a breakout. 2:50 left in the second. NC State and Alabama combining for 3 goals in 2 minutes and 5 seconds to really escalate things here this period. Rinaldi out in front, skitters through the slot and all the way down the ice.
Chris, I can hear Tim Healy from where I'm standing right now, and that was a great forecheck from NC State, talking about keep him in, keep him in. He kept saying it, and NC State did exactly that. Just couldn't find someone on that late pass that went all the way down to the other end. Now they got to regroup, but again, this Alabama forecheck has given them all sorts of problems.
Puck chipped back in by Bama once again. Labrizzi will retrieve it behind his own cage. A little over 2 minutes left in the period. Bronson goes rink wide for Finch on that near side wall. Finch into the zone, stopped up at the hash marks, retrieves the puck again. Now he'll lug it down low. He's body up. Nice hit behind the goal there from Max Owens to separate his man from the puck. And now the Tide can move out. Chipped up now for McCullen. He's just going to float it in. First one there is Mason Payne for the ice pack. Up the wall for Connie, trying to backhand it along for Rady, but it gets past his stick, and Alabama back in control. Curtis looking to shoot it deep. Blocked down by Darlene. He finds Rady up the left wing, and he'll throw it right into that A on the front of Jacobs' uniform. And that's a couple shots recently where NC State has not really found the right spot. They could have had a rebound there. Rady had a man crashing that far side.
Well, he hit his stick on the net, or excuse me, on the boards after he had that shot saved. He did have Reese Johnson crashing, but I don't think Johnson was in the position that he wanted him to be to make that pass, but it does force an ozone draw. The question is, can they get the puck back, as Bama's able to win the draw?
Mason Payne unable to hold the zone. Puck chipped forward now for Tyler Zent. He'll force his way into the zone. Sent all the way around the wall, back up to the blue line where it can be swept down low by Fink. That'll be blocked up and taken by NC State though. Herman plays it along now for Kaufman. Step back to the middle, swept along by Herman looking for Reese Johnson. They can't connect. Mason Payne now will play it back down low. First one to it is Owens. He's dispossessed by Kaufman. Bouncing puck back out to the blue line for Payne. Played along now by Herman down low. It hops the stick of Kaufman. He'll get back to it. On to Herman, off the stick of Jacobs. And the rebound collected by Cameron of
That shot
Alabama.
got iron, Chris. That shot hit some iron there. I could hear it.
Under a minute left this period. NC State and Alabama tied up right now at 2 apiece. But we're not quite done with the period. Prasma shoots from a bad angle, and it'll be swallowed up by Jacobs.
How about that steal that Prasma had on the forecheck? And when he's got space, we saw it last night, he can make you pay, and he nearly did there for NC State. He's able to get a good shot on goal, but holding the post strong, Perry Jacobs, it's been very hard to beat when he's able to hold that post. NC State's tried it the last 2 nights. It hasn't worked for them at all. He's been able to save every time they've tried that near side.
Off the face-off, they'll fight for it in that far circle. Eventually it's collected by Peter Kelly, who will throw it up that near side along the benches. It stalls out at the blue line. Forcing his way through though, Kelly carries in, and they're offsides. Prasma a little bit late on that hit, but doesn't look like anyone's going to let their tempers get the best of them here late in the period.
You got to be careful there if you're Prasma. You've seen Alabama take 2 penalties after the play themselves. Now, Prasma a little fortunate that he didn't get one there, but the physicality's really been increased here, Chris, and I think in the third period we're going to see it go to another level, or maybe right now as Gifford gets tangled up.
And another power play coming up for NC State. Alabama has yet to see a power play themselves. This will be the 5th for NC State, but most of it is going to come in period number 3. There's only 5.7 seconds left, and that was just a late hit on, I believe that was Gifford, when the puck was already gone.
It was.
The 2-6 going to go to the box.
Chris, I'm a little surprised NC State not taking Toyer out here with 6 seconds to go. We saw it happen in a couple other games that NC State has played. They're not doing it here as the refs confer at center ice, but 6 seconds left. If you win the draw, you got 6 guys out there for a chance.
Yeah, I think it's just a little too much time. If Alabama wins the face-off, there's more than enough time to shoot it the length of the ice, and in a 2-2 hockey game with a power play already, I think you probably don't hedge your bet there.
If there's 4 seconds, I would have liked to see it there.
Well, they're going to win it back. Thronson across. Herman fans on the one-timer, and that's going to be all she wrote for period number 2. NC State finally breaking through, but it's still a tie hockey game. 2-2, NC State out shooting Alabama 29-12 right now. And Nick, I think if you're NC State, you feel better, but you're still a little bit frustrated.
Yeah, you are, because you're able to bounce back, you're able to take the lead off the power play, but then you take a breath, something they've done in the past. It's starting to catch up to them again as the wind really picks up here down at field level, and it costs them. Ties the game at 2, just 12 shots on goal from Alabama, but they're getting to NC State right now because of it. And I think a lot of it, Chris, is just those quick breaks that Alabama's able to generate. Odd man rushes, breakaways. They're giving NC State a lot of trouble with it.
Yeah, NC State is just not quite able to find the back of the net when they need to, they've been able to finally break through. But I think they feel like certainly they could have a few more, and a lot of that is because of the play of Perry Jacobs. And I think if you're NC State, you're still going to have to find a way to beat him if you're going to win this game, because he has done a fantastic job of keeping Alabama in this hockey game.
No, he definitely has, and he saved 27 of 29 right now. NC State able to solve him in that second period, though. But for the most part, I think it's going to be a question of how many more chances does NC State get. Another power play opportunity. They've looked well recently on it, Chris. As I got head coach Tim Healy back with me here at a second intermission.
Yeah, we'll throw it down to you now, Nick. You have a quick chat with head coach Tim Healy. Better period for the Pack.
Yeah, it definitely was. Chris just said it was a much better period for you guys. What changed that period?
We scored. No, but it's still not there, right? It's a 2-2 game. You go up 2-1, have your first lead of the night. Can't give that one coming back up the other way. I feel right now we've been really disciplined and not taking the retaliatory, and that's put us on the power play. And man, we got face-off play work there at the end of the period, almost had it. So, hey, we won the period. Now we go to the third, win that period, win the game.
What do you think that you guys did that was able to solve Perry Jacobs in net today in that second period? Because he was on fire that first period, but the power play, that second goal that you guys got, seems like you might have figured him out a little bit.
I don't think you really solved Perry. I think we just put about 100 shots on him in the last 4 games. Well, more than that. In the last 2 nights, we probably put 100 pucks towards his way, and I think, I think we wore him out a little bit, but I'm not really sure we wore him out. Heck, I wouldn't be surprised if they put him back in for the third. It just give him a little bit of a rest here. He's a phenomenal goalie.
Tie game, 2-2, third period. What's the message?
Just keep going, right? Keep going. I think we're playing a really good soft ice game. And what I mean by that is keeping it simple, getting it low, winning the forecheck battles down low, right? That's what it comes down to. I think, too, we've been on the more offensive, so it's more tiring to play D in a game like this. So hopefully that pays off in the third period.
All right, thank you, Coach. Chris, back to you up top.
Thank you, Nick. It should be an exciting final 20 minutes. We'll talk about what's to come and what has already occurred at the second intermission. For now, we'll step aside. Alabama 2, NC State 2 after 40 minutes.
Here on ice level, Nick Perazzi joined by Alabama Frozen Tide head coach Mike Fairbanks. Coach Mike, first period you guys were up 1-0. Second period, you're going to leave it tied at 2. What happened that second period?
It's like deja vu. It's these two teams just refuse to beat each other at regulation. Just the ice is tough. It's warm, and we played each other 4 times down a row. So hoping to keep the third period, keeping the lid on everything in the third period. But the kids are playing well. We're competing. It's a good game. Tim Healy's a great coach, and it's a great team. So.
And again, you guys, it's the 4th time playing the ice pack in the last 8-9 days now. So we saw a little physicality increase there. We saw a couple penalties. What's going to be that message in the third period to make sure your players keep their head on a swivel and make sure they don't take many more penalties?
Well, you just got to maintain your cool. We feel a little frustrated. We feel like we're getting more penalized than the home team, but you got to overcome that adversity when you're playing out of town. But we just got to, guys are getting fatigued now, 2 games in 24 hours, so we just got to be smart. Third period's for smart hockey players, not for people that don't want to think. So
I kind of want to turn to just this overall experience for you and your players as a whole, being able to play outside with a beautiful backdrop against a team you've played really well the last couple of games. How important is it for not just yourself, but the players and everyone involved in this club and this team to be able to play here in front of all these fans?
Well, we want to thank the Truist Field folks, and especially the folks from the ACC for putting this on. It's fantastic. It's amazing. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And we thank North Carolina State for having us here. I mean, look around. I mean, the folks can't see it on TV, but it's just tremendous. These kids will never forget this. Their families are here that came from all over the United States. It's a wonderful thing. I'd love to come back next year.
And a lot of crimson jerseys out in the crowd as well. You must be proud of that. But third period, coach, what do you think's got to change?
Well, we just got to keep playing hard. We got to get pucks on the net and be disciplined and play good position, because we're playing a fine team here, and you can't give them any opportunities because they'll bury it.
Make sure you don't give them many opportunities. That message going into the third period. When we come back, me and Chris will be back up top to break down what we saw in the second period. I appreciate it.
There are no shortcuts.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, thanks for
success.
coming back.
It's forged by confidence, purpose, and determination. Everyone has potential. Few have the power to unlock it. The University of Alabama, where legends are made.
I would never show my teeth. Would never smile. And it forces you into this submission of silence because you don't think that anybody's gonna take what you have to say seriously. Invisalign has changed my life forever.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, Ice Pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all Ice Pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
The love of hockey starts early. It builds more than skills, it builds spirit. Every drill creates a winner within. Grit and determination earn scholarships. Each stride builds a dream. The Wake Competition Center, the official practice facility of the Carolina Hurricanes.
I would never forget the picture that I have. I'm the only one that's not smiling. Even though I'm with my close friends, I felt alone. I didn't feel pretty, I didn't feel confident. When I got Invisalign, I built my confidence. It was the best investment that I could do.
When you look at me, you might see
a person with Parkinson's disease.
But if you look closer,
You'll see
A warrior mom.
an endurance athlete.
someone with a lot of fight.
every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association.
Look closer.
My spirit
Is unshakable.
Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
We talk forever about the future. Worry about it, or wish it closer. We try to glimpse the places we'll go. From ocean depths to the far side of the moon. At NC State University, the future is a thing you make. With bright ideas, new tools, and a wolf pack behind you. Tell us where you're headed. We'll help you get there. NC State. Think and do.
Well, things really opened up in the second period. Both teams getting on the board, a total of 3 goals. And Nick, we now have a tie hockey game, 2-2 between NC State and Alabama. And NC State will have a power play to start the third.
Yeah, they will. It's very similar to last night, except NC State will be on the power play compared to Alabama being on at the start of last night's game.
Yep.
But I think overall that period in my interview that I had with Coach Fairbanks for the Alabama Frozen Tide, we just got to stay out of the box is what he said.
Yep.
We got to play with our head, and we got to make sure we keep our composure. And a team of 15 freshmen, that's pretty hard to do.
Oh, yeah.
NC State was in a similar situation last year. They were not able to keep their composure at times last season. Boy, I think for Alabama, that's going to be the key. Just play with your head and not your heart, because if you play with your heart, you're going to take some more penalties.
Yeah, and right now that has really been their Achilles heel. I feel like NC State, of course, has had a strong showing for the entirety of the contest, but when you end up having to kill off for now a 5th penalty, it's going to kill any momentum you have. It's going to make it hard to build it, and of course it gives the other team the opportunity to put one in your net.
Yeah, it definitely does, and that's exactly how NC State was able to get that first goal. They had so much momentum early in the first period, and then they were just able to chip away. That's what Coach Tim Healy said when I interviewed him on the flip side of the break we just had. He said, we just put about almost 100 shots in the last really 2 games. Yeah. A couple are bound to find the back of the net. But I gave a lot of credit to Perry Jacobs tonight. He's just played a phenomenal game after last night's game as well. I mean, he's kept the Alabama Frozen Tide in these last couple of games.
Yeah, and I think they're going to have to lean on him or whoever they decide to put in the net if they do decide to make a change going into the 3rd period. But they're going to have some time to kill a penalty when we start the 3rd period. We'll look ahead at the 3rd period when we come back. Just a couple of minutes separate us between us and what should be a very exciting 3rd period between NC State and Alabama. 2-2 after 2. Nick, what's the message from both coaches?
I'm going to start with Alabama first. Similar situation to last week's game. You entered that period up 4-3. You lost it 7-4. Can't let that happen again. You've lost 3 straight to these guys. You've been in every single game. Tonight is the night in front of really what seems to be an NC State home game despite a lot of crimson red out there.
Yeah.
You've got to play your heart. For Tim Healy, Remember last year, same exact score going into the third period, 2-2, and what did we do? We fell like flat on our faces. We embarrassed ourselves in a market that we haven't played in before. Do not do that again. Let's instead redeem ourselves from that embarrassment last year.
Yeah, NC State looking for that redemption. Alabama looking for the first win in their fourth meeting against NC State this year. We'll find out who comes away victorious after this.
I would never show my teeth. Never. Would never smile. And it forces you into this submission of silence because you don't think that anybody's going to take what you have to say seriously. Invisalign has changed my life forever.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, Ice Pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all Ice Pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
The love of hockey starts early. It builds more than skills, it builds spirit. Every drill creates a winner within. Grit and determination earn scholarships. Each stride builds a dream. The Wake Competition Center, the official practice facility of the Carolina Hurricanes.
I would never forget the picture that I have. I'm the only one that's not smiling. Even though I'm with my close friends, I felt alone. I didn't feel pretty, I didn't feel confident. When I got Invisalign, I built my confidence. It was the best investment that I could do.
There are no shortcuts on the road to success. It's forged by confidence, purpose, and determination. Everyone has potential. Few have the power to unlock it. The University of Alabama, where legends are made.
Well, we talked about how good Perry Jacobs has been. He's done for the night. You look into that Alabama net, it's going to be Bryce Dunnigan who will take over between the pipes for the Frozen Tide. Isaac Toyer, you see there on your screen, still in net for NC State, and it should be a heck of a third period, Nick. 2-2 hockey game with 20 minutes to go.
Bakersfield, California. Whew, that is a drastic difference from Cali to Alabama, but he's 0-2 on the year. He's given up 7 goals, has a 4.47 goals against average, save percentage of 0.883. So it's going to be a battle of the ones in the net. Isaac Toyer, sports number 1, as does Bryce Dunnigan. The question will be, which number 1 is the real number 1? With 20 minutes to go, maybe we get another extra time added like we did last night, Chris.
Well, Dunnigan also a big body in net, listed on the Alabama roster at 6'3", 185. So just being between the pipes, he can take up some space. NC State with about 1 minute and 50 seconds of power play time left as we get rocking and rolling here in the third period. Thronson pressured behind his own net. He'll find Herman, who steps away from one stick check, floats it out to the blue line. It'll be swatted back in by the penalty kill and Joey Petrich.
And this is just Alabama continuing their success, forechecking on the penalty kill. And look at that. This might actually be an icing, and it is. On the power play, Alabama forces NC State into an icing. And again, the woes breaking out from their own end on the man advantage continue for the Ice Pack.
The one thing that they do have on their side here still is time on the power play. 1:23, so plenty of time to get back control and get into the zone, try and get set up on the man advantage.
This is a big momentum factor too, Chris. If Alabama's able to kill it and kind of dominate the penalty kill, that is massive for momentum. But here comes NC State the other way with speed.
Daniel Prasma down the right wing. He'll stop near the top of the circle. Hands it off for Johnson. Skates past it. Might have gotten caught in a puddle there on that side. Down to the goal line. Right back out. Johnson's shot fought off by Dunnigan. His first test, a tough one. And he stands tall. Shot from Herman. Batted out of the air. Loose in front as Johnson gets knocked down on the side of the goal. But Dunnigan, a couple of saves in tight here early in the period.
Welcome to the hockey game, Bryce. That's exactly what NC State said to him. And Bryce said, yeah, I'm here. He did a fantastic job making those couple of saves. Now, first big test, just 53 seconds in, makes 2, 3, 4 big saves to keep this a tie game. About a minute 2 left on the power play for NC State. It's an O-zone draw, and they've got PP1 out there.
Johnson on the faceoff, wins it to Herman, back to Thronson, and across the blue line for Prasma. Back over to Herman, settles it down and shoots it wide. Bouncing puck gets past Prasma and out of the zone as Thronson retrieves it in neutral ice.
How about the selfishness, or unselfishness, I should say, from Prasma? Had a lot of space there. He tried to find Herman. Great stick from Alabama.
Here's Daniel Prasma stepping into the zone. NC State still 40 seconds of power play time as Dunnigan squeezes the shot from Prasma for a faceoff. 18:41 left in the period, 37 seconds of power play time. NC State going to stay with that top power play unit.
And I think they should. They haven't really, tired themselves out that much. It's their most lethal group, most lethal goal scorers and setup men as well. I mean, they just got one D-man out there in Thronson.
He's got it now. Plays catch with Prasma. Down low for Herman, far side. Back into the middle, and it's floated wide by Govea. NC State still in control. Thronson protects the puck, looking for Herman. That pass disrupted. Thronson back to it. Down to his captain. It hops his stick, and Alabama clears with 17 seconds left on the power play.
And NC State's going to get most of them off, probably prepare now for the end of this power play. One thing I would have liked to see that they would have done there is Prasma had a lot of space, and they put him at the D spot.
One last push for NC State will be shut down. Petrich with speed up that right wing. He'll skate it in. Darlene knocks it off his stick. The follow-up from Angus will work it deep and all the way around the wall. Petrich, no option but to retreat with it.
But go back to my point on Prasma. You got him at the D spot. Create some space for him to skate into the slot. That's how he got his goal last night, was because he was able to generate space himself. NC State can help him create even more space getting in the slot because he's got such a wicked wrister.
Puck off the glove of Gianconti. Alabama will take control. Lifted up that far wall for Max Owens. Through the middle, NC State intercepts. Rady just shoots it deep. It'll ring the wall, pops off the wall and out in front. That's one of those areas we've talked about over the weekend. There are two spots where we've seen some consistently different bounces than you expect to see off of an ice rink. That is one of them. The other in particular actually kind of played an impact on that first goal from Alabama earlier on in the game, and it's down by the Zamboni doors in the NC State end. 3 minutes gone in the third. NC State unable to take advantage of the early power play this period. Still a tie hockey game at 2 goals apiece. Lapani retreats for it. Pass to the middle, almost picked off as it's popped up in the air. Raleigh first to it. He'll absorb a hit and find Rinaldi forward, but he'll lose it to the defenseman Austin Fink. Stolen right back by Rinaldi. Has some trouble corralling it. And guess who? Austin Fink now with it. Kamen with a rainbow pass to center ice. He'll swat at it again. And it trickles into the NC State zone. The Frozen Tide need a change.
A couple minutes straight without a stoppage, really, since the middle of that power play for NC State. Just a lot of back and forth hockey right now.
Here they go. Raleigh looking to the middle, off the stick of Rinaldi, loose in front, challenging the shot. Dunnigan makes the save on Govea. Best chance of the period so far, and the netminder for Alabama, who has not seen any action since warm-ups, has looked strong.
How about this bounce that NC State's able to get off the stick in front of a defender for Alabama, and Govea had a wide net, but just, again, that big frame of Bryce Dunnigan takes away so much of that net. You got to be precise with your shots, and Govea skating in quickly just didn't have a lot of room to find open net.
NC State controls an offensive zone draw. Labrizi's shot doesn't get through, deflects to Gifford, and he'll throw it over top of the net into the glass. Now Patterson back up to the blue line. Labrizi quickly down for Gifford. It's stolen away by Shuley, and he'll play it forward. Here come the Frozen Tide, thrown down behind the NC State net. It's stuck there. Ice Pack will be first to it. Labrizi on for Patterson. His pass deflects out in front, stolen away, loose there, and Toyer got a poke check to it in the blue paint to save what could have been a sure goal for the Tide. Thronson breakout pass for Prasma. Played along for Patterson. They'll advance. 3-on-2 for NC State across. Gifford takes the shot, and he catches the glass.
Good look there for NC State, though, with Gifford flying in on the far wing. Great job from his teammates to find him there flying in.
Prasma pickpockets his man at center ice. He'll float it into the Alabama zone. Couple of changes on both sides as the Tide dump it back deep. Payne retrieves for NC State. He'll pick up speed down the right wing. Steps past a couple of Frozen Tide defensemen into the corner. He's dispossessed by Owens. And it'll be swept up the wall by Ryan Kavanaugh now.
Gifford getting into it a little bit with Drevny.
Along the benches. Shot in on Toyer. He'll stick it to the corner. First one there. Kavanaugh worked around. NC State takes it away. Loose puck collected at the blue line by Patterson, and he'll skate it forward. Into the middle, Darlene looks across for Gifford. Stuck in the slot. Turnaround shot for Patterson, deflects wide. Darlene steers it out in front. Glove down, and Connie's shot ends up wide of the net. Pardon me, that's the captain, Herman, with that try. He's already got one, and it's back on his stick again. Looking to the far side. Deflection through contact for Gifford doesn't go, and NC State continues to apply the pressure.
It's just an all-out onslaught attack from the Ice Pack right now on Bryce Dunnigan, but Dunnigan has been up to the task every single time. He's really finding his groove early on, just 6 minutes now into the period, and that's how much time he's had on the ice. He's going to get a little, well, maybe not an icing. Well, I thought they were going to call it there.
Kaufman plays it back down into the zone for NC State. Out shooting Alabama 5-1 so far this period and 34-13 on the game. Kaufman high slot shot. Trickles wide of the goal. Alabama clears it. NC State Smith got a touch to it, so no icing. And here's the speed of Petrich down into the corner. Hill slams Smith into the wall. Lapani takes a hit as he clears it up the zone and out. And now to be chased down by Reese Johnson in the corner. He'll be knocked off the puck, and Johnson is going to stay down. Herman not happy with the hit there from Matustik.
Nor is, I believe that's Rady. We've got some action now at center ice as Johnson's still on the ground. It was a awkward hit for Johnson. He was trying to shovel it out, and as the defender was coming his way, and it was in that corner there. I hope Reese is all right.
Assistant coach Eric Murray, you see out there in front of the bench. He's going to start making his way down. We've got a trainer coming down for Johnson as well. 13:21 left in the period. Johnson's not a guy you want to lose if you're NC State. Now, he is going to get up himself, and he can put some weight on that leg, so that is good news, but he is still in some pain, you can tell. And that's going to impact the Ice Pack as things go forward. Now, the question here is, obviously based on the reaction from the NC State players out there, you would imagine they're hoping to get a power play out of it. Here's another look. And it's a little tough to tell from that angle. It was a bit of a hit from behind, but you can't really tell for sure there. But it does look like NC State's going to get the power play.
Yeah, I think they are, and that's a big loss to your second line. That extra skater for NC State is the freshman Cam Smith. He's going to have to step up, but it'll be interesting to see how NC State goes about this interview.
This is going to go on NC State, actually.
I think Rady got a little shot in while the play was gone. One more look at the hit on Johnson. He's already going down and then just got finished off there. And now a prime opportunity for Alabama with 13:21 to go. No power plays in the game for Alabama.
Well, it'll be a roughing penalty on Jake Lapani. We talked about discipline throughout the course of this game, particularly for Alabama, because they'd been on the wrong side of the penalty sheet for most of this game. But if you're NC State, obviously, they've got a little bit of an argument there. It's a little bit of a gray area as to whether or not that should have been a penalty on the defenseman for Alabama. But if you're the Ice Pack, you want to defend your injured player, but you can't in a tie game like this.
Well, that's what Tim
take
Healy's,
that penalty.
That's what Tim Healy's trying to get right with the reps right now. He's understanding why that wasn't a call. So it's just an unfortunate circumstance. If you're NC State and a prime opportunity, if you're Alabama, you're able to keep your composure, not draw matching penalties, which is critical the way that this game has gone. And that's that message that Mike Fairbanks had in the locker room informing at the end of that period.
Alabama with a great chance. Their first power play of the game here, not quite halfway into the third of a tie game. Worked up top. Moved along by Tyler Zent. He'll get it back at the top of the umbrella. Along for Kamen. He'll throw one wide. Collected off the wall by Shuley. He'll look things over. One-timer coming off the stick of Labrizzi as he got in the way of that shot for Tyler Zent, who's back in control. Another one through traffic. That one didn't get to the net either. Couple of good blocks there from the NC State penalty kill. A little over 30 seconds gone now. Zent walking it into the top of that near circle. Drops it off. One-timer off the glass behind. Stuffed towards the goal. And now NC State able to clear. Well, you can sense it in the crowd. It's certainly a little bit more of a favorable crowd for NC State as you would expect.
But it's
and
tense.
You can tell they're nervous.
Yeah. The tense. You could feel.
Here's Peter Kelly. Drops it off in the skates of his defenseman, Austin Fink. He'll retreat back deeper into his own end, down to 50 seconds of power play time for the Frozen Tide.
And watch Alabama try to get bodies in front again, looking for those deflections. That's exactly what they did their last power play push. That's exactly how they tied the game last night on the man advantage.
They'll work it down low. Behind the goal, it's poked over to the far side. Moved back up top, shot through traffic, ends up wide of the net, and Darlene takes over. And it was Parks Wallace with the shot. He's now in control at center ice. Move down to Curtis. He'll play it deep. Bolt in on the forecheck. NC State comes away with it, though. Darlene and a one-on-two scrum along the wall. It comes loose for Curtis. Worked across. Shot from Wallace ends up wide of the goal. Down now to 6 seconds of power play time. Done again, warning his team that Lapani's about to come back. And the power play over. Frozen Tide 0 for 1 on the man advantage now tonight. NC State on the flip side 1 for 5, but they still have to alleviate this pressure. Shot on goal, pad save by Toyer, and now he'll melt it down with 11:06 left in the game, still 2-2.
And, we're almost halfway through this second period. One more look at that Toyer save that we just had. It was actually a good rebound and just a fanned-on opportunity in front from, I believe, it was Peter Kelly. But every single moment now in this game is going to be critical in terms of if your team's going to win or if your team's going to lose. Every mistake is magnified 10 times more. And you can, again, feel it in this building. The crowd is very tense right now.
Pass cross ice, misses the intended target, but Matustik still able to knock it down low. Now it's Prasma up high. Swatted off his stick. Pass goes straight through and all the way down the ice. This will be icing on the Pack. And the faceoff comes back to the NC State zone.
That's pretty critical for NC State. Got some legs, that were fresh on there, but a little bit tired now. And they've been starting to lose that draw a lot, especially in the D zone, Chris. Alabama has been able to win a lot and kind of been able to generate off those face-off dubs.
Face-off one straight on goal to Toyer. He'll scoop it up with the glove, and we'll do it again. I'll tell you, it's been a fantastic weekend so far here in Charlotte. Had a solid crowd, a great crowd really on hand last night. A little bit more than we see tonight, but another really good crowd on hand here for what has turned out to be another fantastic hockey game.
A couple of the youngins have left a little bit early, though, but And it's Saturday night. Come on, let the kids stay up past bedtime. What are we doing here? We've got a tie hockey game between two great D1 programs. Let them stay up a little bit longer.
NC State wins the draw. Gifford throws it off the wall, but it's held in at the defense by Max Owens. Second effort and it's out. Govea has a lane through the neutral zone. Prasma does. Down deep now, it's Daniel Prasma. Bouncing puck, hops his stick. He gets back to it though and plays it up top. Shot through, fought off by Dunnigan. Loosen skates in the slot, still there, and it squirts loose to the near side. Now Prasma has it knocked off his stick. Alabama now in control. It'll be skated up by Angus Arnold. His pass hits a body in neutral ice. He'll battle for it with Gifford, and it ends up back in the Alabama zone. Played up the wall by Matustik. Loose there along the boards. It'll be played back behind. Behind the goal is Dunnigan. He's tied up there with Patterson.
There. Patterson gave a little check back to him there because Dunnigan didn't really have that puck all the way.
Puck along the Alabama bench. Comes loose for Reese Johnson. Good to see him back out there after the scary hit. Play to the middle and a one-timer wide from Prasma. One of the best chances of the period.
And that's a rare miss from him. That's a rare miss from Prasma too, that close.
Prasma dispossessed by Matustik. Johnson trying to take it back. Bama defenseman plays it forward. NC State has it again. Here's Prasma moving in. He's got Govea going to the net, and a glove save from Dunnigan. We'll get a face-off to the glove side of the Alabama net here.
Oh, and just going back to that chance for Prasma, I believe we're going to get a look at it here. It's a great little dime from Reese Johnson. He was able to get around the diving defender, but Prasma just could not finish him. Maybe a little pressure from behind there caused him to miss that shot. I feel like Johnson also could have just took it right to the middle and tried to shoot one, but maybe he was a little too far in close. Nevertheless, Alabama forces a shot to go wide on a great opportunity for the Ice Pack.
Crucial defensive zone draw won by Alabama. NC State holds the blue line over on that near side though. Worked back around, now there's space to break out. Garrett Connor looking rink wide. Ends up hitting the linesman with it. Bama still gets to it first. There's that awkward bounce off the Zamboni doors, and NC State will move back up and out. Here's Johnson. Top of that far circle, throws it right into the pads of Dunnigan, and he'll melt it down again.
You mentioned that awkward bounce, Chris. I mean, we're in a baseball stadium. Every stadium, every playing surface is a little different. It's going to be a little different when you play inside of one as well with that little awkward bounce that kind of juts out a little bit, unlike that wall right down the right field line here where it juts back a little bit because it's only 315 feet, but a good opportunity for NC State off the draw if they can possess it.
Govea to Rinaldi, who spins one wide to that near post. Darlene pinching in to shoot it back around. Now the pressure from Mason Payne as he and Kavanaugh battle away. Rinaldi comes away with it. Up to Govea. Shot deflects off of Cam Raleigh's stick and wide. McCullen trying to clear. Sealing off the wall, though, Darlene. Works it back up for Rinaldi. He'll throw one towards goal. That one didn't get through, and it deflects all the way down, and a shaken up Dylan Drevny will head to the bench. Big block there from the senior. Just under 8.5 to go now. NC State back on the attack. Down that left wing, swept to the middle, just missed a stick in front. That was Mason Payne, the defenseman, up on the rush. Rinaldi now under pressure for the Ice Pack. Move forward for Payne. Furthered along now for Joey Govea. Looks to the middle. Tied up there was Raleigh. He stumbles to the ice. I think the officials there make the right call. No whistle or penalty. The stick was tied up cleanly.
And last night they called that a penalty, and I don't think they should have. And I'm really glad that this officiating crew didn't. We're going to get a good look at it here. It's just a stick tie-up. Going for the puck. And actually, I think he just kind of clipped his skate a little bit there. Not really a stick tie-up like we had thought up here. But again, Chris, I think it was the right call. Let them play. Stay out of the game. It's a great game so far. Both teams going at it. No need to make a ticky-tacky call.
And if you're NC State, you're not going to get a whole lot late, I would imagine. They've had 5 power plays to Alabama's 1. And late in the game, you tend to see less getting called anyhow. Along the far wall, Peter Kelly looking to the middle, settling it down now, Cameron. His centering pass is blocked down by Smith, and now Rady will chop it out of the zone as he's upended. Now Austin Fink shoots it around behind the NC State net. Smith back to it once more. His clearance blocked down, but the loose puck to Austin Finch, and he'll clear the zone. Alabama possessing the puck a little bit more than NC State right now. Heavy hit there on Kelly as NC State jars the puck loose and takes over. Little miscue there in the neutral zone as Connie overskated, and Alabama will reset again. 7 minutes left, 2-2 hockey game. Aiden Rady into the zone, throws it off the blocker of Dunnigan, who directs it to that near corner. Behind the goal, Finch looking for his options. Plays it back up top. Quick one-touch shot from Labrizzi, deflects wide. Over to the far side, and it's Garrett Curtis clearing. NC State has it at their own blue line. Finch plays it across. Labrizzi sends it back. Now moved forward. Gifford will shoot it in. Rady in on the forecheck. Going to beat Matustik to it, but lost an edge, and Alabama's defenseman can clear it up the wall. And Maniscalco continues the effort out of the zone. This is going to be icing, though, and NC State will get an offensive zone draw as Alabama can't make a change.
And they're tired. Bent over for a little bit there. Grant Curtis coming back to the faceoff dot. He really wanted to get off the ice. I believe getting off the ice and forcing him to be back on is Arnold. So Alabama was trying to get a line change there. And this is a pivotal moment in this game with NC State going with that first forward line of Patterson, Gifford, and Prasma.
Well, NC State led the game for just 13 seconds after a power play goal. They'll look for their second lead of the game off this face-off. A little bit of a soft wrister from Darlene, handled easily by Dunnigan. And with that stoppage, Alabama, if they need to, I think should be able to make a change. They're not going to. Now they are. The bench will empty up.
No.
Well,
they waited too
whistle
long.
was not enough to get the change. So Patterson on the draw for NC State. It'll be one backwards, and Curtis will play it off the glass and out of play.
Now you got to go right away. They had trouble getting out of the door, and yeah, it's going to be a wholesale. All five of the players on the ice coming off for Alabama. 6:06 to go, Chris. NC State out shooting Alabama 38-14, but it doesn't feel like that. It really doesn't. This is the fourth time these two teams have met. This is exactly what we expected and how this game would have gone. It feels like the Super Bowl of all the games that they've played, with the amount of pressure and the tension and the fact that we're playing in such a unique venue.
Puck squirts forward for Cam, and quick shot, he scores! That's Tyler Zent. Slipped one past Toyer in transition, and with just under 6 to go, the Frozen Tide are back in front.
Well, he had one last night on the penalty kill, short-handed, and he's got one tonight, even strength, doing the exact same thing, just hustling down the ice and creating opportunities not only for himself, but for this Alabama team. Flips the water bottle up on that shot of Toyer, and just a beautiful job. They haven't had many chances, not that many shots on goal for Alabama, but when it's mattered, they have put the biscuit in the basket. They lead 3-2.
Captain Zach Herman trying to answer quickly. He'll carry it in. Centering pass deflected over into that near corner. NC State still applying pressure. That was just the third shot of the period for the Frozen Tide. They're being outshot 9-3, but here they go again. Backhanded just wide of the goal by Baz Shuley, and NC State will clear the zone. Here's Zach Herman. Floats it forward, looking for Johnson. He's going to skate his way through Austin Fink and play it out into the middle. Popped up in the air, bouncing puck in the slot, ends up in the far corner, and will be played out of the zone by Zent. And all the way down, another icing on the Tide with 5:16 to go. Ice Pack have Kaufman, Johnson, and Herman out there with the defensive pairing of Thronson and Labrizzi. This is the top pairing and the top forward line for the Pack. I think we're going to see a lot of this combination if NC State continues to trail here in the last couple of minutes. Quick shot off the draw, doesn't get through. Bama trying to clear and can't. It works its way into that near corner. Chipped off the glass, bounces out to Kaufman, who has trouble with the bouncing puck. Shoveled back in by Thronson, but not very far. And now Kaufman will strip it away from a man from behind. He reverses back, stops top of the circle, throws one on goal. Dunnigan had trouble with it, and it trickled just wide of the goal. Thronson plays it back in. Johnson under pressure, finds Kaufman for the turnaround shot wide. Labrizzi now on the boards, turns away from pressure, sweeps it down low, deflected on goal, and Dunnigan swallows it up. A great tip there from Zach Herman. And NC State all over Alabama. It's now 40 shots on the game for NC State. This period, they are out shooting Alabama 11-3. Get another look at this chance for the Pack. As Kaufman had his shots trickle just wide of that post. Dunnigan wasn't quite sure where it was. They put a scare into the Frozen Tide fans here. Raleigh on the faceoff for NC State. Peter Kelly, the centerman for Alabama, will get kicked out of the circle, replaced by Nolan Bolt. NC State wins the draw. Shot coming from the blue line, deflects wide. Govea first to it for the Pack. He'll try and defend from the pressure, but it's knocked off his stick and out into neutral ice. Labrizzi plays it forward, touched along by Govea. He'll track it down below the goal line, out in front, and it slips under an NC State stick. And now Bama back the other way. He'll be thrown around the wall. Bolt to it. He has a heavy collision with an NC State player down in that far corner. But NC State comes back the other way now. Labrizzi throws it in deep. Thronson was that NC State defenseman who collided down there. Iceback still with plenty of pressure. Raleigh can't get a stick to it. Kavanaugh now has space to skate it out. He'll pick up speed down that right side. Cutting around, thrown in front, off the pad of Toyer, loose on the side of the goal. Great chance there for the Tide. NC State gets out of danger for the moment. Down to 3:45 to go.
Chris, he tried to stuff that a little too early there and back down at ice level. If he had waited about half a second longer, Alabama goes up 4-2.
Here's Finch. He'll skate it forward himself. NC State getting some fresh legs out there. He'll button hook. Finds Rady in the middle high slot. Knocked down from behind, but he still got the shot away, and it's fought off by the blocker of Dunnigan. Finch pinches it down low. Rady collects in the corner. He finds Payne up at the blue line. Thrown into the slot. It hits Giancani and deflects wide. Finch from an off angle. Rebound pops right back to him, and he can't get a second shot away. Now the Frozen Tide able to clear. Darlene is able to shoot it right back in. New defensive pairing coming out for NC State. Iceback still with that forward line of Finch, Connie, and Rady, applying the pressure on the forecheck. Lapani touches it back down low. 2:53 to go in this contest. Played off the glass. It'll stay in. Connie slaps at it. Bouncing puck, kicked along and now settled down by Tyler Zent, who scored that go-ahead goal. He'll skate it out and down into the zone. Got a fortunate bounce off a skate there. He'll finally be shut down by Lapani and forced into that near corner. Now Finch. Just over 2.5 to go. We'll keep an eye on Isaac Toyer. He's going to be heading to the bench here shortly with NC State down 3-2.
Yeah, he's looking to the bench right now, Chris. How about even with him at ice level? But, you know, NC State's got to go do a dump and then chase and get him out.
Labrizzi at his own blue line now. Finds Lapani to shovel it deep.
Toyer's looking.
NC State needs some possession for him to have time to get off the ice. Curtis will skate it out. Gifford shuts it down at the red line, but it pops back loose for Curtis again. He'll play it off the wall and all the way down. They're going to wave off icing, though, and Labrizzi has to turn with it. He's under some pressure. 3 crimson jerseys there. He still clears. It pops over to Gifford. He has it knocked away, though. A great play by the captain in Parks Wallace.
Here comes Toyer.
And
Toyer's going to the bench, Chris.
NC State will go for the extra attacker. 1:37 to go. Patterson plays it down low. Bama trying to play it up that far wall and out. It skips away, and here's a chance moving forward. Maniscalco takes the shot. He missed wide. Pressure from Govea disrupted that opportunity. NC State not out of danger yet. Now it's Prasma. He'll look forward. Overshoots Patterson, though, and now out of the net, Dunnigan going to shoot it around. Collected now by Gifford. Having some trouble settling it down. It'll be cleared out now by Alabama. 1:08 to go. NC State back to work as Darlene skates it in. Down that left wing, throws it on goal, sticked away by Dunnigan. Back up the boards, Govea along the hashes. He tries to throw it through a body and can't. Second try, off the skate of the defenseman in Austin Fink. He'll play it around the wall. It bounces past Darlene and out. Now Mason Payne. Forward for Darlene. Shot right back in by Alabama. This is not going to be icing out in front. That should do it. Empty net goal with under a minute to go, and it's a 2-goal lead for Bama.
The bounces just went Alabama's way when they would clear the puck down, and that's exactly what happened there. NC State just couldn't get the puck to get back into possession and break it out, and then just a puck that's floating right in the slot. Petrich wasn't going to miss that one. And how about Alabama? They lost the first 3 of this series, but the 4th time is going to be the charm.
Oh, and I think almost all of the credit goes to the Alabama goaltenders, because you look at the first 2 periods and Perry Jacobs stops 27 of 29 shots, and here in the 3rd period, 13 of 13 stopped by Dunnigan. And NC State just didn't have an answer for the goaltending. 20 seconds left. Puck pinned in the corner in the NC State zone. The Frozen Tide happy with bleeding out the rest of this clock. And unfortunately for NC State, the game they probably wanted to win the most out of the 4 against Alabama this season, they're going to fall short. 4-2 Alabama, a late goal from Tyler Zent, and then an empty netter for Petrich is the difference maker. And a lot of credit, Nick, to the Alabama Frozen Tide for hanging it in there despite what NC State was able to do on the offensive end.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, NC State had Alabama cornered for about 60 to 70% of this game, but it didn't matter. They just could not solve the goaltending for Alabama, and it was NC State the ones who were able to get it done, or excuse me, Alabama the ones to get it done, to solve the goaltending, and to get the win.
Yeah, and if you're NC State, you got to kind of hang your hat on you played the game about as well as you could. You just didn't get the bounces. And this game probably less than any of the others so far. We talked about ice conditions. You saw the puck bouncing around a lot late in that game, and sometimes you need that puck luck. And Alabama got it today. NC State didn't quite get the same amount of puck luck. And the Frozen Tide, as a result, end up coming away with the victory in this contest. And, you know, it's hard. We talked about it pregame. It's hard to beat a team 3 times. That's kind of the cliche. It's even harder to beat them 4 times, and Nick, NC State found that out.
These games were, Alabama was bound to win one, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, all the heartbreak they had the last couple of games, they were down, lost the first game 3-2, up 4-3 in the 3rd of that second game down in Birmingham last week, lost it in a heartbreaking fashion. Last night, a loss in overtime, another heartbreaker, but tonight, there will be no heartbreak, and they get the dub.
Yeah, the Frozen Tide fans that showed up for this one definitely got their money's worth, as the Frozen Tide will salute their fans that made the trip to see this. It's a special night for this Alabama hockey team. And Nick, we'll give you a second here. Be careful out there. Kendall was down there in skates the last couple of nights, but let you find our player of the game as the 2 teams start off the ice now. As we mentioned, this is just the first of 2 weekends as NC State and Alabama wrap up this weekend. We'll see Georgia Tech and ECU on Thursday next weekend, followed on Friday by Georgia and Virginia Tech, and wrapping things up, it will be Charlotte and App State on Saturday, a week from tonight. Well, we couldn't have asked for a much better weekend. Auburn got a pretty handy win, 9-4 over Coastal Carolina the first night, but the last 2 games have been really impressive. And now our Nick Perazzi has the game-winning goal scorer, Tyler Zent, down there. Take it away, Nick.
Our star of the game, Tyler Zent, had a shorty last night, the game winner tonight, even got a point on that empty netter. Tyler, how big is it to get a dub in just this insane environment and to be able to finally knock the ice back off?
Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely amazing, this venue. Once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but this is just so special to get the win in front of all our fans. A bunch of my family traveled from, all the way across the country, so it's so nice to get a win.
I was going to ask you just the importance of this game. Yeah, you're all good. He's going to go for a quick picture, Chris. But, what a great performance from them tonight. They're going to give him a little more of a cheer as they take the team picture. NC State doing it at center ice. But, it was just a gutsy performance from Alabama all night. They were able to battle back.
Here he comes.
The last couple of games, he's coming back to me now after a great game. You're all good, Tyler. But again, just the importance of this win. Kind of walk us through, though, that game-winning goal that you had and how important it was for you guys to get that one to third.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that puck get chipped out of the zone, and I knew I had to get in and get a shot off quick. But I mean, we just got to build off that. It's a huge win for us. We're coming off like a 4 or 5 game skid, so that was huge for us to get a win against a team like this.
And how big is it going to Chicago for the showcase coming up? How big is that to generate momentum here in Charlotte, going up to the big city, the Windy City?
Absolutely, yeah. We got 3 games next weekend. Just a huge confidence boost for our team. We're going to build off this one and feel good about it tonight.
Tyler Zen, our player of the game. Alabama knocks off the Ice Pack 4-2, Chris.
Thank you, Nick. We'll give you some time here to get back up as we will wrap things up in a few minutes. NC State still going over for the alma mater, played by the Frigid Sound as they do back up at Wake Competition Center in Invisalign Arena every home game. But these two teams put on a show, as did UNC and South Carolina last night. So a fantastic first weekend. We're going to wrap things up when we come back. But here tonight, Alabama picks up 2 goals in the third period late, and they come away with a 4-2 win over the Icepack. We'll be back to finish things up after this.
There are no shortcuts on the road to success. It's forged by confidence, purpose, and determination. Everyone has potential. Few have the power to unlock it. The University of Alabama, where legends are made.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, Ice Pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all Ice Pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
The love of hockey starts early. It builds more than skills, it builds spirit. Every drill creates a winner within. Grit and determination earn scholarships. Each stride builds a dream. The Wake Competition Center, the official practice facility of the Carolina Hurricanes.
I would never forget the picture that I have. I'm the only one that's not smiling. Even though I'm with my close friends, I felt alone. I didn't feel pretty, I didn't feel confident. When I got Invisalign, I built my confidence. It was the best investment that I could do.
When you look at me, you might see
a person with Parkinson's disease.
But if you look closer,
You'll see
A warrior mom.
an endurance athlete.
someone with a lot of fight.
every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association.
Look closer.
My spirit
Is unshakable.
Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
We talk forever about the future, worry about it, or wish it closer. We try to glimpse the places we'll go, from ocean depths to the far side of the moon. At NC State University, the future is a thing you make, with bright ideas, new tools, and a wolf pack behind you. Tell us where you're headed. We'll help you get there. NC State. Think and do.
Welcome back to Truist Field here at Uptown Charlotte. Chris Lehman, Nick Perazzi with you as we wrap up yet another great game here at the 704 Outdoor Face-Off. Alabama 4-2 winners over NC State, and It was a fantastic game. You knew for Alabama eventually they were going to break through, and tonight was the night.
I mean, just my interview with Tyler Zink down on the ice, he signified the importance of this one. You know, they come in, they lost 7 straight coming into this game, lost 3 in a row against the same opponent, and you got one more opportunity to do it against really the game that your opponent wanted the most in pretty much almost the entire season. And you're able to get it done. It was a clutch performance in the 3rd period. They would not go down, and how about that? Alabama is able to win a close one. Well, NC State, unfortunately for them, were able to not win a close one. So a bit of a role reversal tonight, if you will. But you know, Alabama just played a phenomenal game in the 3rd period. They made good adjustments, despite the fact they were outshot by well over 20 shots on goal.
You talk about that, you got to talk about the goaltenders and Jacobs and Dunnigan. Jacobs, obviously, great first 2 periods. It was at least as impressive, if not more impressive, for Dunnigan to come in the 3rd period after sitting for 2 in this environment in a tight game, and he made every save that was asked of him. I believe it was 13 in the 3rd period.
And I mean, you saw how he came into the game instantly, 4 or 5 chances in 52 seconds that he was out there. But that big frame of his, 6'3", 185 pounds, was able just to pad everything away, use that body to his advantage. Big reason why Alabama was in it to win it, and that's exactly what happened. Got to give a lot of effort, though, to Perry Jenkins as well. Did a fantastic job keeping his team in it through the first 2 periods. That first period, just that onslaught that NC State had, able to stay calm, composed, and get the W.
Oh, yeah. Well, the 2nd weekend of the 704 outdoor face-off has a lot to live up to. Auburn 9-4 winners over Coastal. South Carolina winning 4-3 in overtime over North Carolina last night, and a 4-2 win for Alabama over NC State tonight. Next week, it'll be Georgia Tech ECU Thursday, Georgia Virginia Tech Friday, and we'll wrap it up next Saturday with Charlotte and App State. But for this weekend, we're done here at Truist Field. From Uptown Charlotte, I'm Chris Lehman. For Nick Perazzi, thanks for joining us. The final count, Alabama 4, NC State 2.